Sean Malone, why did the Francis Howell School District pay $250,000 to their newly hired superintendent only for him to walk away from the job? I've got that story coming up.
I'm Tom Ackerman. The Social Security Trust Fund is heading toward a cliff in 2032 when a new trustees report says full benefits can no longer be paid. We'll get more at 6:02.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. Coming up, some tips to keep us well hydrated during these hot times.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Times of sun and clouds today. It's going to become breezy, very hot and humid this afternoon with a high of 97. Watch out for a gusty thunderstorm toward evening.
Cardinals take a wrecking ball to the Mets. It's at 6:15.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. More strikes overnight from U.S. forces on Iranian targets, and Iran's foreign ministry now says the April 8th ceasefire is meaningless. Iran says it launched attacks on 18 more targets, but the U.S. says it's intercepted missiles aimed at American facilities in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. All of this after President Trump said Iran would have to pay the price for not striking a peace deal. ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy says there's a growing danger Iran could put more mines into the Strait of Hormuz.
That is not only problematic because ships simply won't go through the strait if that's the case, but even if we get to an MOU, depending on how many they put out there, it could take months to clear before, even with a full ceasefire, for ships to be able to move freely through the strait itself.
Hundreds of thousands of customers without power this morning after strong storms battered the Midwest. The Knicks one win away from the NBA title after an amazing comeback last night. This is ABC News. In Los Angeles, the trial has begun for the man accused of igniting the deadly and destructive Palisades fire last January. In Chicago, police are looking for a person of interest seen fleeing the scene of a cross burning inside the iconic Grant Park. Father Michael Flager of St. Sabina's Church says the person needs to be identified and arrested.
It was so premeditated. You made this cross somewhere, you carried it, got it downtown, you put it in one of the most visible spots in Chicago, and then you set it afire.
As of now, it's being investigated as an arson. The FBI is also taking part in the search for a suspect. Mexico City is gearing up for the first World Cup match, Mexico versus South Africa. Just in time for the World Cup, Starbucks is launching its latest version of its Bearista bear-shaped cups. They come with a soccer-themed cap, but you can't buy them at stores. They're only available online for certain customers. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02, and we have mostly cloudy skies right now in downtown St. Louis. It's 75 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Concerns found only after hiring him are why the Francis Howell School District paid a superintendent $250,000 to never work the job.
A new report from Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick found the board failed to do their due diligence when choosing Dr. Mike Dominguez to serve as their superintendent, which he never worked before the board mutually agreed to part ways with him. According to Fitzpatrick, quote-unquote concerns were found related to his former employment at the Garden City School District in Kansas, but only after hiring him. A confidentiality agreement as part of the mutual separation is preventing the auditor from commenting further. Fitzpatrick essentially says the board is blowing off the responsibility for this costly hiring mistake.
The board is kind of washing their hands of it and kind of not accepting responsibility for the failure here. And our view is that as long as they have that attitude and take that approach, this circumstance has a high risk of repeating itself.
Fitzpatrick says the board insists hiring a superintendent is not routine, but notes Francis Howell has hired 3 since 2022. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX has reached out to the Francis Howell School Board, and they have not returned our calls.
Questions are being raised by the Landmarks Association of St. Louis following Tuesday's vote by the St. Louis Public School Board of Education to demolish 3 long vacant schools.
Those schools, Scullin, Hempstead, and Euclid. Stuart Keating, executive director of Landmarks Association, tells KMOX Euclid had a developer that wanted to buy it.
We're very disappointed that despite having an offer on the Euclid school, they went ahead and voted to spend insurance money that could be used elsewhere to demolish a taxpayer-funded building.
That insurance money Keating is referring to was meant for tornado recovery.
These three buildings were part of the tornado zone, so this was an acceptable use according to the insurance payout policies. But I think that insurance money probably could have been used better elsewhere, at least for the Euclid School, which had a developer.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
More on this story coming up at 6:22.
Manchester police lifted the lockdown at Parkway Southwest Middle School on Wren Avenue yesterday evening. According to police, the school security officer confronted a person drinking alcohol on school property. When the security officer approached the subject, they removed a handgun from a backpack and showed it before running off. An extensive search was conducted by Foot, Air, K-9, and other police departments. The school was placed on lockdown as a precaution. While school is not in session, there were teachers and students on campus. This person got away, but police say the investigation is active.
Two 17-year-old males were shot in an alley in the O'Fallon Park neighborhood. City police say officers responded to a call at a hospital Tuesday, but shortly before 12:30 in the afternoon for two teens suffering from non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. The teens say they were walking in the alley of the 4200 block of East Lee Avenue when they saw two unknown masked men. They told officers they turned around to walk in the opposite direction when they were shot. Police are still searching for the suspects.
The Social Security Trust Fund is headed toward a cliff in 2032 when a new trustees report says full benefits can no longer be paid. For Illinois Senator Dick Durbin, it's a familiar problem. He helped write the 1983 rescue that brought the program 50 years of solvency. The same 50 years are now running out.
On the Senate floor, Durbin recalled how risky that vote felt at the time.
I thought to myself, this is the end of me. No matter what they come up with, whatever proposal it is, the controversy will be so intense that it'll cost me my congressional seat.
In the end, Durbin says not a single member of either party lost their seat over that vote. Proof, he argues, that Congress can take hard votes and still survive. He's now urging lawmakers today to step up to fix Social Security.
The Musial Bridge could soon be joined by another new bridge over the Mississippi River.
The St. Louis Regional Freightway wants to replace the aging Martin Luther King Bridge over the Mississippi. It's a $629 million project still sitting unfunded on the agency's 2027 priority list. The bridge doesn't even carry an interstate, so why does a freight agency care so much? Bi-State's Mary Lamy explains.
The existing bridge has relatively narrow lanes, minimal shoulders, but it plays a really important role with the freight network in that it is part of the region's network of Mississippi rivers, and it's providing that redundancy. And the bridges are under construction, or in the future, if we have to replace a bridge.
Before anything gets built, engineers still have to decide whether to rebuild the bridge as it is or design something bigger. A $10 million study just getting started is meant to help answer that. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It is 6:07, and when we come back, we'll take another look at the roadways. It's kind of a cloudy, windy morning, but that's going to change. The latest on the way on Total Information AM.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a nice run out there right now, Tom. The roads may be a little damp just from overnight rains. The fact that it's the humidity is so high, they're not going to dry out that easily. But, no concerns really on the interstates right now. The delays we had westbound 70 through Wentzville Parkway and David Hokel Parkway have thinned out. I did see some slow traffic. It's gone now, so that's good news. Southbound 61 south of W, so that Wentzville area is looking good. Had a couple of call-outs for a crash westbound 64 at the ramp to South 270. I still can't see it, and what I can't also see is delays. It's not causing a problem, so if it's there, it must be on the shoulder. The rest of the highways, construction zones, and otherwise look good. I'm not seeing any backups downtown on 64. Headed for the Poplar, 55 coming up to 141, 278 Ladue. Everything continues to cruise along for you on this Thursday morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
After a disaster, emotional recovery takes time. Show Me Hope, Missouri offers free, confidential support wherever you are. Call or text 1-800-985-5990 and connect with a local crisis counselor today. From Missouri Department of Mental Health.
A shower and thunderstorm around early. More sun and clouds for the balance of today. Breezy, very hot and humid this afternoon with a high of 97. Accurate, the real field temperatures over 100. The record is 98 from 1933. A heavy gusty thunderstorm will charge through the area during the late afternoon and evening hours. It can be severe with downpours, hail, damaging winds, and a threat for tornadoes. Then clearing behind this front later tonight and turning cooler, low 65. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Gorgeous day, cooler and less humid, the high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it is cloudy and 75 degrees downtown.
Sports coming up in 4 minutes, including an epic comeback at Madison Square Garden, one of the greatest not only in basketball, but in championship sports history. We'll have it in 4 minutes. The markets didn't blink yesterday with the news that inflation surged to a 3-year high.
4.2%. Almost the entire increase in inflation, no surprise, from a year ago is gas, oil, energy. In fact, gas is 40% higher from a year ago. Now, it has leveled off lately.
Dave Simons of One Private Wealth says the market kind of shrugged because it already knew it was coming and factored it in.
There is a clear correlation between financial stress or economic downturns with increases in domestic violence and sexual assault. Dr. Cheryl Watkins-Knott with the YWCA of Metro St. Louis says that was evident during the recession around 2008 and the COVID pandemic. Unfortunately, the federal government is cutting funds for domestic violence programs, as is the state of Missouri.
From $25 million to $9 million for a statewide effort to support domestic violence, sexual assault. That's frightening because many organizations, good organizations out here, including shelters, they might not be around to support survivors moving forward.
Watkins-Knott says often people will say to those in a domestic violence situation, well, just leave then. But she says you can't leave if you have no money and nowhere to go. The YWCA serves about 1,200 domestic violence survivors a year.
The U.S. State Department is reaching out to European countries asking for more stringent travel controls amid concerns that World Cup visitors could bring Ebola to the United States.
KMOX's Total Information AM asked Dr. Alexander Garza, Chief Community Health Officer at SSM Health, about potential risks.
The probability of somebody traveling from one of those affected areas into Europe and then to the United States is pretty low.
Garza says current screening at key U.S. airports lowers the risks as well. He points out Ebola is not an airborne disease like COVID. Instead, it's transmitted through direct contact with bodily fluids. Kansas City is one of the U.S. host sites for World Cup matches over the next month. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
With the World Cup kicking off today, officials are warning fans to be on the lookout for scams. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says be wary of fake websites. And one way to avoid those is by going to official websites like FIFA.com. She says look for official and trusted websites like an Airbnb or a Vrbo. Make sure to pay for lodging or World Cup tickets with a credit card, not cash or a debit card or apps, because you don't get fraud protection on those like you do with credit cards.
Not all bets are off at Fairmount Park, just sports betting. FanDuel has shut down its sports betting operation after a decade, since many people now do their sports betting online. But horse race betting will continue at the 101-year-old racetrack, and the casino remains open. Wonder what the odds were on the Knicks winning the game when they were down 81-52 in the third quarter at Madison Square Garden. Who wrote them off? Pretty much everybody. Celebrities lining the courtside seats, from Taylor Swift to Jerry Seinfeld. New Yorkers watching at various watch parties around the city, at airports. Here in St. Louis, my daughter had a bunch of friends over. They were sitting outside, and when they got word that the game was down to 4 points, they all came running inside, and we gathered around the TV. If you weren't a basketball fan, if you hadn't watched an NBA game in years, you might have been drawn to this series, and certainly this particular game, which will go down in history. The Knicks are down by a point with 5.7 seconds left. On ESPN, after coming back from 29 down, one last chance. The call from Mike Breen.
For Jalen Brunson, allow him to operate at the top, 101. Brunson gets it, fires up a three. Shot no good, the tip, it's gone! It's gone! It's gone! With 1.2 remaining, Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby, and it's 107-106. Bedlam here at the Garden. They can't believe it. Brunson's shot looked good and just came up short. Now there's still 1.2 seconds left. You're going to end up with 2 on the ball here on Brunson. And OG Anunoby, the inbounder, is going to have a free run at this because there is 2 on the ball.
Just an incredible athletic and smart play by OG Anunoby to go up, time it, tip it in, and an absolute frenzy at Madison Square Garden as they win this game 107-106. It's the greatest comeback in NBA playoff history. The Knicks were down 29 points in the third quarter and win the game over the Spurs. They take a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, up the road at Citi Field in Queens, the Cardinals did their own damage with the bat of Jordan Walker.
Peterson, the lefty, delivers, and that pitch is hit hard, deep left center field, but it's going to stay in the ballpark, or is it? No, it's over the wall. A big fly for Jordan Walker. A 3-run homer. That carried over the 370 sign.
That was after Nelson Velasquez hit a 2-run homer in the second inning. That was in the fourth. A 3-run bomb from Walker, and the Cardinals weren't finished there, Burley.
Burleson 0 for 4. He swings and hits it deep to right field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a gunner. A 10-game hitting streak for Alec Burleson. And it's 9-2 Cardinals in the ninth inning.
They win it 9-2 over the Mets. Chip Carey with Ollie Marmol.
Well, Ollie, getting 9 is always a good recipe to win a game, and the way you did it was a lot of fun. You powered up.
No doubt. Guys played really well today. Palante did a nice job. The offense showed up, and Walker drove in 4. Another homer, big swing by him there. Velasquez able to drive in 2 with his homer against the lefty. And Burley tags one late, but really, really good showing by everybody.
Let's start with Palante. What did you like most about his performance? He's got a 7th win.
Yeah, he filled up the zone. He was on the attack. Played the chase with the curveball at times. The slider was a good pitch for him. Pitched in to lefties. Used the sinker into righties. So overall mix was really good.
Matt Swanson, another terrific performance. 2 scoreless innings.
Yeah, to be able to throw 13 pitches in 2 innings. Filled up the zone as well. Almost 80% strike. So that was really good to see. And that's the guy we remember from last year, man, just coming in, a lot of confidence. That was good.
And the roster tweaks you've made over the last week, they're paying dividends. This lineup continues to get deeper and deeper and deeper.
No doubt. What Velasquez was able to do against their lefty there was exactly what was needed. And then Fermin drives in one there at the end as well. So it's looking pretty good.
Now you're set up with Hunter Dobbins tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've seen him out of relief for 2 times. To have him have the start, everybody's excited to see it.
Nice to see you smile. Let's get a sweep.
12:10 start today. I'll have the pregame at 11:15 on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenagers gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Enjoying the great taste and health benefits of cottage cheese is easier than ever with Pro Pack Snack Cottage Cheese Cups from Prairie Farms. Each perfectly portioned cup is less than 100 calories, low in fat, and packed with 12 grams of protein, making it a smart, satisfying way to fuel your day. If you're at work, practice, or a cards game, Pro Pack is your tasty grab-and-go snack option. Locally made, naturally delicious. Find Prairie Farms Pro Pack Snack Cottage Cheese Cups at your local grocery store.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:21. Let's get you caught up on your ride in on this cloudy morning, but sunshine on the way, as well as details on the forecast. Here's Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it doesn't look bad out there right now. If you're hitting the highways, getting going, this traffic reports a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. One place we're seeing delays right now, eastbound Highway 70, eastbound 70 just east of 47, about midway into the Wright City Rest area is backed up. Now, it's a work zone as well, so not sure if there's actually some road work going on there or if there's an incident, but we'll keep tabs on it and let you know if it's getting better or worse. That's the only backup, though, on the Wentzville area. It looks great. Southbound 61 down on the 64 or 70 coming out of Wentzville. Still cruising along on the south side. 55 coming up through 141 to the Merrimack. Looks good. 270 both ways around Ladue, and that construction zone's fine. Still not bad. It's starting to slow a little bit. Westbound 64 from the 70 split to 3rd Street where those right lanes are closed for the construction work through the 20th. So starting to get a little volume there. And that's the only delay, though, on the Illinois side. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
More sun than clouds today. Very hot and humid this afternoon, a high of 97. A heavy, gusty thunderstorm late this afternoon and this evening. Keep an eye on a possibility of flooding downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, isolated tornado. Clearing later tonight. It'll be cooler tomorrow. Low 65 overnight, high 85, less humid tomorrow. Currently, we are dealing with humidity and a few clouds here and there as we have a mostly cloudy sky downtown, 74 degrees.
It is now 6:23. North St. Louis will need years to recover from last May's tornado. Homes and businesses were not all that was destroyed. Some schools also sustaining significant damage. Students had to go to different schools. The twister not only tore up buildings, but people too.
3 schools in the tornado zone, Scullin, Hempstead, and Euclid, sustained damage, but they were vacant before the tornado. Tuesday, the St. Louis Public Schools Board of Education voted to demolish all 3 schools, even Euclid, which had a developer.
I attempted to be in communication with individual members of the Board of Education over the past few weeks, really over the past few months, and I have had very little luck of getting anyone to respond to an email or a phone call. I've had Brian Marston has been very responsive, and I appreciate that.
But Executive Director of Landmarks Association of St. Louis, Stuart Keating, tells KMOX, since the schools were in the tornado zone, they qualified for insurance recovery money.
I'm really very frustrated with the Board of Education's vote last night.
With all the upheaval and how children have been displaced by this tornado in their schools, in their communities, it seems like this is just completely contrary to what should be happening instead of trying to restore the community back to some normalcy.
Right. And I mean, what's interesting to me about this is that this was a really prime opportunity, right? So the Euclid School is in Fountain Park neighborhood, and someone was going to come in and someone wanted to come in and do an $11 million development to turn it into multi-family housing, multi-unit housing. And we actually have a case study on this. We have 17 schools across the city of St. Louis that have been converted into residential units. They total about 634 units of housing. And it's not just like luxury lofts like people think of. It's senior housing, it's low-income tax credit housing, it's middle-income housing. There's a variety of different housing options that can come out of this. And it can be a really strong stabilizer for neighborhoods, right? You have instead of having this vacant school or instead of having a vacant lot, which if it's a vacant lot, the St. Louis Public Schools still has to pay to mow it. They have to pay to fence it. They have to pay to maintain it. If someone gets injured, they're on the hook for it liability-wise. They're magnets for crime. They look bad, right? So vacant lots in these vacant schools cause neighborhoods to decline, and they cause property values to decrease, which then further hurts the St. Louis Public Schools because that's how they get their funding is from property tax values. So these school rehabs that have been done are actually currently contributing about $150,000 every year directly to St. Louis Public Schools. So they're paying about $300,000 a year total in tax. It's about $149,000 goes to the St. Louis Public Schools. And some of these are abated because they're pretty big projects. And once those tax abatements end on all the projects that are currently active, the number will be closer to $250,000 a year that goes to St. Louis Public Schools directly. And that is, of course, just the real estate taxes. That doesn't count the economic activity that goes into rebuilding these schools, rehabbing these schools. It doesn't go into the property taxes and the sales taxes that the people that live in these schools pay as well. So these are really essentially big economic engines for neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods that have been distressed and disinvested in North St. Louis. So it's very tough to see what should have been a slam dunk for the Board of Education to transfer one of these buildings and have someone else take it on and restore it and make it an income-producing property.
I spent several hours at the Board of Aldermen. It was regarding the RAM settlement money. But
Right.
one of the things that did come up, North City and how it's for so many years been disinvested. And there was actually a lady who spoke up and said that the schools that she attended are no more. Scullin, Hempstead. It just seems counterproductive to what's going on right now to try and restore North St. Louis and bring it back to a little bit of what it's like. I mean, obviously there's not enough money to completely correct all the problems. Was the entire board, did they all vote against or vote for this?
Well, so this was the Board of Education, which are separately elected. There are 7 of them. 4 of the board members, so there were 7 votes total, 7 members total. There were only 6 votes. One of the people was having technical difficulties and couldn't vote. So there were 2 people that voted against demolition and 4 that voted for demolition.
There's no recourse, nothing that could be done. Is this a done deal now?
I was looking into that this morning. I don't think there were any procedural defects on the meetings. I think that we will probably end up filing some sunshine requests around the bidding process for demolition because the demolition bid seemed higher than one might expect, just to see what's going on there. But yeah, I think it's probably a done deal. And to me, this is very sad because this we lost. Like Club Imperial is going to get demolished in North St. Louis, where Tina Turner played. The Palladium was demolished. We're looking at the ABC Auto Sales building getting demolished very soon.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
It is 6:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, there is an event coming up that you should know about because it's a great way for you to have a great time and help the animals. I know if you know me, I love dogs. I'm a huge dog person. Animals in general, I can go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, of watching animal videos on TikTok. Kind of a stress reliever. Anyway, it's called Purses for Pooches, and it's coming up at the Humane Society of Missouri next Thursday. That's the 18th. And it's just a fun night of hors d'oeuvres and cocktails. You buy raffle tickets. They have dozens and dozens of designer handbags. Some of these are worth thousands of dollars. I think the last time I went, there was a purse that was worth like $10,000. I know. And you could win these. And of course, all the money helps the Humane Society of Missouri's Animal Cruelty Task Force. They are the team that goes all around the state of Missouri, rescuing not just dogs, but cats and pets and farm animals. It's really an amazing effort. They put tens of thousands of miles on their trucks during just one calendar year, saving animals. So that's just one way you can help, or you can go to hsmo.org and make a donation and help the animals at the Humane Society of Missouri.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Cloudy skies, 75 degrees downtown at the Arch at 6:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, hitting the highways, there's a few more folks out there with you right now, but it still doesn't look bad on the south side. Northbound 55 coming up from Festus, that run. 141 up through the Merrimack River, still good to go. North 270 still looking good. 55 up through Gravois, 44 both ways around Ladue. Seeing a little volume on 30. Mauer Industrial up to 270. Coming in from Wentzville, southbound 61 on to eastbound 6470 looks great. But we still have the delays out west, not quite as bad as they were. So that's a good sign. But there's still a slowdown eastbound 70, just east of 47, and it goes about midway into the Wright City rest area. And then on the Illinois side, you got the delays a little more solid now. Westbound 64, the 70 split to 3rd Street, where those right lanes are closed at the split, headed for the Poplar. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Shower and a thunderstorm earlier today. Now we're going to see heat and humidity. More sun than clouds today. Breezy, very hot, humid this afternoon, high 97. Heavy, gusty thunderstorm late this afternoon and this evening. Can be severe, says Joe Lundberg, with flooding, downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado. Clearing later tonight, turning cooler, low 65. Nice day tomorrow. Sunny and pleasant, less humid. A high of 85 degrees. It's 75 right now.
A man has been found dead in the Penrose neighborhood in North St. Louis. City police responding to a call about a shooting just after 2 a.m. this morning outside a home on Marcus and Bircher. According to our partners at Fox 2, a passerby found the victim outside of the home, which is vacant and under renovation. Police also investigated the gas station directly across the street. No further information is being released.
St. Louis County Police are asking the public for help identifying human remains. They were found near Grants Trail back in November 2021. The department posted a photo on Facebook yesterday with an artist's rendering of what the deceased victim may have looked like. Police are asking residents to help identify the deceased male to bring closure to the family.
A new audit sheds some light into why the Francis Howell School District paid $250,000 for a superintendent not to take the job.
Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick's report found the board missed quote-unquote concerns with Dr. Mike Dominguez when hiring him as superintendent. The concerns were serious enough to place Dr. Dominguez on leave and eventually agreeing to mutually terminate his contract. KMOX asked Fitzpatrick if he could elaborate on these concerns.
They're related to his past employment in Garden City, Kansas, and and the concerns were significant enough that the board made a decision to part ways with them and enter a settlement agreement, as opposed to attempting to terminate him and go through a potential legal battle with him. So we'll honor the terms of the confidentiality agreement.
Fitzpatrick's audit says when the board floated the idea of terminating Dr. Dominguez for cause, he threatened legal action. This also could have made the concerns public. The audit adds the board is, quote unquote, washing their hands of the $250,000 mistake and risks repeating it. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Francis Howell responds the auditor did not identify any violations of Missouri law, board policy, or contract regarding the separation agreement with that superintendent. As a proactive measure, the board has implemented several changes related to superintendent contracts. They say we have strong leadership in place and are focused on the future. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up next.
Santana, Oneness Tour 2026. The power, the energy. Come celebrate your favorite hits from Woodstock to Supernatural and beyond with very special guest, the Doobie Brothers. Saturday, June 20th, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. On sale now at livenation.com. Santana and Doobie Brothers, Oneness Tour 2026.
When it comes to your health, having knowledge is powerful, as they say. And so if you could better understand what your risk was for chronic disease before you even have that first symptom, how powerful would that be? Siteman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk, and that's what it's called, Your Disease Risk, provides personalized insights to help you understand factors that might increase or decrease your risk for chronic disease and cancer, whether that is environmental, whether it is genetic. With easy to understand information and prevention guidance, Siteman will help you take those meaningful steps toward a healthier future. Just a few minutes today could make a difference for years to come. Siteman.washu.edu/YDR. Siteman.washu.edu/YDR.
It is now 6:36, and that means it's time for your money report from Bloomberg, which is sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Wall Street is bouncing back after yesterday's tumble for stocks. The Dow plunged 953 points on escalating tensions in the Middle East. But this morning, investors are optimistic that talks between the U.S. and Iran may restart, sending shares higher. S&P futures are rising 54 points, Dow futures gaining 360. Meantime, shares of several large trucking companies, FedEx Freight, Old Dominion, plunging in trading yesterday. Amazon is taking another step deeper into shipping. The company is expanding its less-than-truckload freight service, where multiple companies share space on the same truck, to destinations across the U.S. This is raising fears that Amazon will snatch business away from established players. And Microsoft's Xbox division is said to be planning major job cuts next month. The tech giant is looking to overhaul its video game business as revenue continues to decline. The exact scale of the layoffs are not clear at this time. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step. providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
City SC Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Hughes Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com. Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Mets.
Hammond Total Access 11:15. First pitch 12:10.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 6:40. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. If you're just heading out the door, or maybe you're kind of stuck somewhere and wondering what's going on. Here's Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's either just volume or work zones that are going to hold you up right now, Debbie, for the most part. On the Illinois side, it's starting to slow down both sides of 159 on westbound 64 through that construction zone. Looks a little busy right around 25th Street, but then it's a pretty solid slowdown from the 70 split. In fact, 5570 from Exchange onto 64 through 3rd Street, where those right lanes are closed, is all starting to bog down. Northbound Route 3, well, Judith, it's slow, but it's jammed from Queenie up to Monsanto, so it's getting busier there as well. Out west, we still have this delay, not as bad, but there's still a slowdown eastbound 70, just east of 47, about midway into the Wright City Rest area, and then past 64 on Highway A. Eastbound 64, you've got slow stuff in a couple of spots approaching Winghaven toward Highway K. Northbound 270, north of Big Bend up to Manchester, and 64 up through Ladue is busy. 55 looks okay, coming through 141 headed into downtown. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Ready to refresh your space with furniture that's built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
It's going on 6:42. We need to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. And I've been kind of, when I'm reading this forecast, Joe, kind of scooting past what may happen tonight because I'm just looking ahead to sunny and 85 tomorrow. But how strong might these storms be?
I think they can be very strong, Debbie. I mean, we saw some wicked ones to our north and northeast yesterday afternoon and evening that produced a wind gust of 70 to 80 miles per hour. And I think that type of wind damage is in play with these thunderstorms late this afternoon and this evening, probably from like about 6 o'clock to maybe 9 or 10 o'clock. I think that's the window. Ahead of it, it's going to be toasty. Very hot and humid, mid-90s with sunshine and some clouds, real feels over 100. Thunderstorms with those damaging winds, hail, a threat of tornadoes, yes, and flooding downpours. But then behind them, things really start to change. It cools off later tonight. By morning, we're in the mid-60s as skies clear. And you're right, tomorrow's going to be a great day with sunshine, lower humidity, the high 85. Sun and clouds for Saturday. I'm a little bit concerned about thunderstorms erupting in the afternoon, the high 84. That's more likely Saturday night and even into a part of Sunday before it dries out later Sunday and some sun returns, the high 78. We stay in the 70s with some sunshine on Monday. Currently 70 at St. Peter's, 69 in Florissant, 71 with a fair amount of clouds still downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It is 6:43. Thousands of Southern Baptists have overwhelmingly voted by a 3-1 margin to advance a formal ban on female pastors. We get more from KMOX's religion editor, Fred Bottomer.
This first vote came at this week's Southern Baptist Convention national meeting in Orlando. The final tally easily exceeding the required 2/3 majority needed for passage. The AP's Lisa Dwyer says if the measure is passed by a similar 2/3 margin at next year's convention, it will become part of the SBC's constitution.
While the SBC can't tell its self-governing churches what to do, it does have the power to expel churches from convention membership, declaring them not in friendly cooperation.
More than 11,000 Southern Baptist delegates or messengers took part in the two-day convention. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The congressional investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's network is pressing forward with a St. Louis lawmaker among those vowing to see it through. Bill Gates became the latest figure to testify, telling the House Oversight Committee he regrets ever meeting Epstein but denies any wrongdoing. Here's Congressman Wesley Bell.
The victims, the survivors deserve a full, detailed, and thorough investigation. And we're going to continue seeking to interview, uncover any evidence related to these crimes, because that's exactly what the victims and survivors deserve.
The committee has already questioned former President Bill Clinton and is looking to bring in more figures tied to Epstein. Gates, who has not been accused of any crime, says he hopes his testimony helps find justice for the victims. Memphis, Tennessee City Council members are openly asking whether their city even needs minor league baseball anymore.
I've been to many Redbirds games. I was there in 97, but guys, the world has changed. That was 30 years ago. I'm sorry. People are playing pickleball. They're not going to baseball games. They're sure as heck not going to minor league games.
The question came up Tuesday when AutoZone Park asked for $5 million for safety repairs and renovations to keep the Cardinals' AAA affiliate in town. Councilman Chase Carlisle.
What I would spend the money doing is exploring the opportunity of what we could do with that facility.
The council voted to hold on the Redbirds' request, and they'll take it up again in 2 weeks.
Well, I can tell you who pays attention to the Memphis Redbirds and their players. St. Louis Cardinals fans. They're all over it. They want to know exactly who's next, who's coming, what's the season going to look like when Joshua Baez eventually joins this team, when Blaze Jordan joins this team, and Luis Gastelum and Quinn Matthews, who knows? But right now, this is the team that you're working with, and you guess what? This team's really good. Our broadcasters with the latest.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. Last night at Citi Field, another team win for the Cardinals, 9-2 over the Mets, and Andre Palante went 6 with a quality start. He's a 7-game winner.
Only 3 hits for the Mets. Palante was terrific. He's had a really good season. A lot of strike ones for him. He got some help from Matt Swanson, who went 2 scoreless. JoJo finished it up. But the Cardinals' offense was really the story. They got 3 home runs. They kept adding on and really have outplayed the Mets in the series.
Velasquez, Walker, Burleson all hit home runs, and for Jordan Walker, a 4 RBI night.
And a 3-hit game for J.J. Weatherholt, and Herrera was on base 3 more times.
So the Cardinals have won 6 in a row. They go for the 3-game sweep in New York this afternoon. On the mound, Hunter Dobbins looking for his second Cardinal win against right-hander Christian Scott. He's 2-0, and we're on the air at 11:15 this morning. Ricky will have the lineups at high noon. I'll bring you the first pitch at 12:10.
Down to the field, Jordan Walker with Danny Wexelman.
And I've got Jordan Walker with me. Hey, career high now for you in home runs. I don't want to get twisted in the numbers here, but does that mean anything to you?
I mean, it's cool for sure. But yeah, as you said, I really don't want to look at the numbers and not look at them at the end of the season.
What makes you most proud of the work you've put in this season so far?
Just kind of like how I'm feeling at the dish. I feel a lot more comfortable. And so it just shows that the work I put in, did a little something. So I think that's really what it is. Nothing more than that.
Hey, we see you guys communicating to each other in the dugout between at-bats. We saw JJ talking to Burley for quite a while. What does that tell you about this group?
Yeah, our ability to communicate to each other about the pitchers, I think, is unbelievable. And I think that's why, we're so good at, doing the little things. And I think that's something that we need to take care of the rest of the season. But, it's unbelievable. I love it.
Can you please describe the vibes in this clubhouse and in the dugout?
It's unreal. The energy is there. Let's keep it going for the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Jordan. And look out now. The Cardinals are chasing down the Brewers. They're 3.5 back. They've won 6 in a row. Brewers have lost back-to-back games, letting the Cardinals in the door a little bit. And it's a 2-team race right now in this division. The Brewers lost to the A's. The Cardinals pounded the Mets. The Pirates sit 7 back, clearly distant from the Cardinals. The Cubs are at 500 team right now. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 8 back, and the Reds are 3 games under 500, 9.5 back in the National League Central. Cardinals and Mets today at 12:10 with an 11:15 pregame, and I'll bet you by 11:15 there are still people partying in the streets after what the New York Knicks did to the San Antonio Spurs.
For Jalen Brunson, allow him to operate at the top, 101. Brunson gets it, fires up a 3. Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone with 1.2 remaining.
OG Anunoby tipped in a miss by Jalen Brunson, and the Knicks beat the Spurs 107-106, came back from 29 points down in the third quarter to win Game 4 of the NBA Finals. They're up 3-1. It's the greatest comeback in NBA playoff history. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. St. Louis Composting, 9 locations in the St. Louis area. There is one near you. Just go to stlcompost.com, stlcompost.com. They have compost for your gardens. They have soil. They have the Missouri Botanical Garden soil bagged and ready for you at stlcompost.com. And they have mulch. They have lots of it. And you can choose what type of mulch you want. You can have it delivered, as a matter of fact. Just use the cubic yards calculator, and you can determine how much mulch you need. That easy, just by the click of a mouse, and boom, you are in, and they'll have it delivered to your home or business. They are St. Louis Composting. STLcompost.com, St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories.
Here's a World Soccer Championship preview.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. And by the first ever Infiniti QX65. An evenly matched fixture between South Korea and Czechia wraps up opening day play in Group A. Czechia rides a 6-match winning streak, while South Korea has won their last 2 friendlies by a combined 6-0 scoreline. They've advanced out of the group stage in 4 of their last 6 appearances and shocked Portugal in their last World Cup in 2022. I'm Mike Conti.
I feel like I'm getting robbed when I bet the Stanley Cup on a sports book.
Dude, delete that app. You need to be using Polymarket.
Polymarket?
Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. You trade against other fans, not the house. That means more money for you and less for greedy sports books.
Even during the Stanley Cup?
Especially during the Stanley Cup. Polymarket is an official prediction market of the NHL.
No way. What's the catch?
No catch. And it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident you'll never go back, they're giving you $50 free on your first trade.
I'm deleting my sportsbook app. How do I get started?
Download Polymarket now and use promo code SHOT for $50 free for your first trade. Stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Download Polymarket and use promo code SHOT for $50 free on your first trade. Use promo code SHOT.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, just a moment ago, Debbie, they dispatched EMS for a crash report at eastbound 70 near Grand. I'm not seeing any delays through there right now, and I don't see any lane blockage of the views I have at Adelaide, Salisbury, and Grand itself. Yeah, if you're on the Illinois side, westbound 64, a little slowdown. Well, it looks like we have a crash near just before 25th Street. It's actually starting to back up at 111, 5570. There's a crash at Exchange. There's jam on 64 westbound from that point to 3rd Street into the construction zone. Route 3 is backed up. Northbound is south of Judith up to Monsanto. Southbound is 8th Street to Queenie. Solid bumper to bumper both ways there. North 270 a little slow at Big Bend. Doherty Ferry to Manchester. 64 up to Clayton Road. Southbound 61 delays approaching Wentzville Parkway on to 64 70 out west. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Hot and humid today, high 97. Heavy, gusty thunderstorm late this afternoon and evening. It'll cool things off, but it could be dangerous. We'll keep an eye on possible severe weather. Clearing later tonight, cooler, low 65. Tomorrow, less humid, high of 85. It's 76 right now.
How far should county government go to police vacation rentals? That question split the St. Charles County Council this week as members weighed an ordinance targeting short-term rentals like Airbnbs and Verbos. The bill would exempt the county's wine country tourism district but apply everywhere else.
Is the medicine worse than the disease? Are we putting something on there that's going to create a bigger hardship for the folks in the county than the issues that we're coming into?
That's Council Chairman Mike Elam questioning whether the issue is even widespread, noting it had never come up in his years on the council, but other members pointed to real complaints, parties, fights, and corporate buyers turning whole clusters of homes into rentals. Councilman Timothy Baker argued inaction has a cost too.
When you've got people who have homes and their lives are impacted, I think sitting back doing nothing is not the right choice.
The council asked staff to come back with options, possibly something short of a full ordinance.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Remember, if you have a birthday or anniversary, you can email it to totalam@kmox.com, totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Tom Franklin Willenbring, Pete Foggy. Happy 32nd anniversary to Sam and Debbie Jenkins from Carol and the family. And happy birthday wishes to Dan Paris and Scott Jagow.
This is the best birthday ever.
Here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters. I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. My family's been working with the Laderman Law Firm for over 20 years now. And the reason's simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs change. Circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, laws, and circumstances change. They're outdated. They sit in a drawer. People assume they're fine and their plan will work when they need it to work. Well, at Laderman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The Laterman Law Firm. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Looking for something new? Lombardo Homes is excited to introduce 2 brand new opportunities in St. Charles County. Discover Crooked Creek at Cottleville Trails, featuring stylish new townhomes from the high 300s and access to incredible amenities that make Cottleville Trails one of the area's most sought-after communities. Or find the space you've been dreaming of at South Point Estates, where expansive 3+ acre home sites and top-rated Wentzville schools create the perfect setting for your custom dream home. Visit LombardoHomes.com to learn more about these exciting new communities.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
Here is Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got a jam on westbound 64W, actually 5570 Exchange onto 64 3rd Street, northbound Route 3, Jerome up through Monsanto's bumper to bumper. Next update at 710 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis County Police are asking the public for help identifying human remains. We will learn more at the top of next hour.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. A new audit into the Francis Howell School District shed some light on why they paid $250,000 to a man to walk away from the superintendent position. I've got that story coming up.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. Coming up, some tips to keep us well hydrated during these hot times.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A shower and thunderstorm early. Sunshine and some clouds today. Breezy, very hot and humid with a heavy gusty thunderstorm late in the day. The high 97.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. More attacks in the Middle East, and now Iran's foreign ministry says the April 8th ceasefire is meaningless. ABC's Karen Waugh in Washington.
A new barrage of U.S. missiles striking multiple targets in Iran, including surveillance, communications, and air defense sites. And this new warning from President Trump, telling Fox News if the Iranians don't sign a peace deal, then the U.S. will bomb the expletive out of them tomorrow. Trump now acknowledging the fragile 2-month ceasefire with Iran is, quote, the most violated ceasefire in the history of the world.
The British Defense Secretary has just announced he is stepping down, saying government spending plans are falling short of what is needed. Police in Northern Ireland using water cannons on protesters in Belfast in a second night of anti-immigration protests. Storms blasting parts of the Midwest have left hundreds of thousands without power this morning across several states. This is ABC News. In Washington, Republicans have extended their winning streak, not on the Hill, on the field. Here's ABC's Dave Packer.
While most of the country was watching the nail-biter NBA championship Game 4, Republican lawmakers were celebrating their own win at the Congressional Baseball Game for Charity Wednesday night at Washington's Nationals Park. The Republicans beating the Democrats 11-2. That makes 6 straight years that the Republicans have won the matchup. The game sold 32,000 tickets and raised a record $3.2 million for local charities. Dave Packer, ABC News.
In Washington State, the city of Renton police officers have a new tool aimed at improving communication during encounters with those who don't speak English.
Language set to Spanish.
Hello, I'm Officer Vanderhook with the Renton Police. How can I help you?
Hola. Every body cam can now translate into 56 different languages. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02. We have mostly cloudy skies and 76 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll be on the lookout for a gusty, heavy thunderstorm late this afternoon and this evening. Details coming up in weather at 7:10. St. Louis County Police are asking the public for help identifying human remains. The remains were found near Grants Trail back in November 2021. The department posted a photo on Facebook yesterday with an artist rendering of what the deceased victim may have looked like. Police are asking residents to help identify the deceased male to bring closure to the family.
A man found dead in the Penrose neighborhood in North St. Louis. City police got a call about a shooting just after 2 this morning outside a home on Marcus and Bircher. According to our partners at Fox 2, a passerby found the victim outside of the home, which is vacant and under renovation. There's a gas station directly across the street. No further information has been released.
A new audit sheds some light into why the Francis Howell School District paid $250,000 for a superintendent not to take the job. Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick's report found the board missed concerns with Dr. Mike Dominguez when hiring him as superintendent. The concerns were serious enough to place Dr. Dominguez on leave and eventually agree to mutually terminate his contract.
KMOX asked Fitzpatrick if he could elaborate on the concerns.
They're related to his past employment in Garden City, Kansas. And, and the concerns were significant enough that the board made the decision to part ways with them and enter a settlement agreement as opposed to attempting to terminate him and go through a potential legal battle with him. So we'll honor the terms of the confidentiality agreement.
Fitzpatrick's audit says when the board floated the idea of terminating Dominguez for cause, he threatened legal action. This also could have made the concerns public. The audit adds the board is washing their hands of the $250,000 mistake and risk repeating it.
Francis Howell responded, the auditor did not identify any violations of Missouri law, board policy, or contract regarding the separation agreement with the previous superintendent. As a proactive measure, the board has implemented several changes related to superintendent contracts. We have strong leadership in place and are focused on the future.
These 3 buildings were part of the tornado zone, so this was an acceptable use according to the insurance payout policies.
Landmarks Association of St. Louis's Executive Director Stuart Keating on the St. Louis Board of Education green-lighting the demolition of 3 vacant schools that were in the tornado zone. Those schools are Scullin, Hempstead, and Euclid.
Keating says the problem with this, Euclid School had a developer.
For the Euclid School, which had a developer ready to pick it up and give them a cash offer for it. In fact, Benjamin Anderson, the developer in question, has been trying to buy Euclid School for several years now, and has really struggled to do so. My understanding is that the Board of Education is not really set up to sell real estate because they're the Board of Education. They deal with schools, and I understand that it's just a whole different skill set and a whole different set of processes from developers.
Did they give a reason?
They did not.
Keating tells KMOX he has tried to contact SLPS several times, but he's had little luck making contact. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Manchester police lifted the lockdown at Parkway Southwest Middle School on Wren Avenue yesterday evening. According to police, the school security officer confronted a person drinking alcohol on school property. When the officer approached the subject, they removed a handgun from a backpack and showed it before running off. An extensive search was conducted by Foot, Air, K-9, and other police departments. The school was placed on lockdown as a precaution. While school is not in session, there were teachers and students on campus. The person got away, but police say the investigation is active.
2 17-year-old males shot in an alley in the O'Fallon Park neighborhood. City police say officers responded to a call at a hospital Tuesday, just after 12:30 in the afternoon. 2 teens suffering from non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. The teens say they were walking in the alley, the 4200 block of East Lee Avenue. They saw 2 masked male suspects. They turned around to walk in the opposite direction when they were shot. Police are still searching for the suspects.
Should Americans be worried about World Cup visitors from other countries bringing the deadly Ebola virus with them?
It's a very low risk.
Dr. Alexander Garza, Chief Community Health Officer at SSM Health.
And the reason why I say that is because of some of the restrictions that have already been put in place for travel to the United States from those areas that where Ebola is currently circulating.
Garza says the current practice of concentrating disease screening at key airports in the U.S. also makes sense in terms of available resources and logistics. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The World Cup kicks off today. Officials are warning fans to be on the lookout for scams. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says, be wary of fake websites. Make sure to go to official websites like FIFA.com or Airbnb and Vrbo. Pay for your lodging or World Cup tickets with a credit card, not cash or a debit card or apps like Cash App or Venmo, because those forms of payment don't include fraud protections like credit cards do.
An epic comeback or collapse, either way you want to look at it, in the NBA Finals last night. We'll have that in sports on the way at 7:15. Plus, the Cardinals do damage in New York as well. We'll have traffic and weather next. It's 7:08.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen. Izzy, what's going on, man?
You know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all of that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10, and it's time for us to get you updated on traffic and weather. Looks like it could rain again any minute here in downtown St. Louis. Weather is on the way, but first we check in with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad out there right now, Debbie. We're sort of into a lull that we normally get before we get to our peak of the rush hour. But right now, westbound 64 does have delays from 111 through about 37th Street. That's where we had a minor crash. Then 64 is jammed from the 70 split to 3rd Street. Route 3 still seeing delays between Queenie and Monsanto both ways. Not as extensive as it was 10 minutes ago. Looking better there. Eastbound Highway 30, Mauer up the hill to 270. Slow. 55 looks good. 141 across the Merrimack. Northbound 270. North of Manchester up through Ladue, the busiest part of that run. Out west, southbound 61. Eastbound 70, 64 look great coming in from one. So we'll do have a rescue crash. They're checking on maybe getting the Arch Air Medical Helicopter to respond to 1700 block of Antire Road in the High Ridge area. Next update at 7:20 for the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's get the latest from AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. After a rainy start to our morning, he says we're going to be looking at hot and humid conditions this afternoon. A high of 97, more sun than clouds today, but it is going to be very, very hot. Heavy, gusty thunderstorm late this afternoon and this evening can be severe with flooding, downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado. Clearing later tonight, turning cooler, low 65. We're going to have a nice one tomorrow. High of 85, less humid, sunny, pleasant, and cooler. No rain on the radar, but as Debbie said, the clouds do look daunting, but there's no rain activity in the St. Louis city or surrounding area at the moment. It is 7:12, 75 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
And the news continues. A Fenton man has been charged with child pornography. A 31-year-old Cooper Rodman arrested Tuesday after the Special Victims Unit of the Missouri State Highway Patrol searched his home and found videos containing that content on his electronic devices. Cooper has been charged with 2 counts of possession of child porn and is being held in the St. Louis County Jail on a $75,000 bond.
One person is dead following a crash yesterday afternoon in South St. Louis. It happened in the 6600 block of Michigan Avenue around 3:30 p.m. No additional details have been given at this time, including the identity of the victim. KMOX will have updates when they are made available.
Also, how to keep the region's manufacturing and logistics industries growing. How about a new river bridge?
A replacement of the Martin Luther King Bridge over the Mississippi tops the list of unfunded projects in the St. Louis Regional Freightways new 2027 plan. It's a $629 million need, and the Freightways' Mary Lamy tells KMOX that even without an interstate running over it, the bridge is a workhorse for riverfront industry on both sides.
If you think about some of the industrial use that's taking place on the Illinois side in East St. Louis, Brooklyn, and Venice, and then obviously you've got some of that industrial use in the St. Louis area. So it does provide some of the local traffic for some of the industrial use in this area as far as truck traffic.
The MLK Bridge is one of several big ticket items the Freightway lists as unfunded. Others include a new $3 billion terminal at Lambert Airport we've told you about, and a freight yard expansion in Madison, Illinois. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Well, sports betting is off at Fairmount Park. Not horse racing, but sports betting. That's the latest from FanDuel. They've shut down their sports betting operation after a decade, since many people now do their sports betting online. Horse race betting will continue at the 101-year-old racetrack, and the casino remains open. Wonder what the odds were when the Knicks were down 29 points last night in the third quarter at Madison Square Garden. That is the situation they faced, down by 29. The score was 81-52 Spurs in the third quarter. For the New York Knicks, a 53-year wait for another championship might have been decided by what happened in 4.5 seconds. And those 4.5 seconds will never be forgotten by the Knicks or by the San Antonio Spurs. The situation, Game 4 of the NBA Finals, Knicks down by a point in a game where they trailed by as many as 29. They called timeout with 5.7 seconds left, just as Jose Alvarado nearly committed a backcourt violation that would have cost the Knicks the basketball and probably the game. But they did have possession, and they did come out of a timeout, and you knew they were looking for Jalen Brunson. However, OG Anunoby made himself a New York legend. The call on ESPN.
Let's go flat for Jalen Brunson. Allow him to operate at the top. 101.
Brunson gets it. Fires up a 3. Shot no good. The tip. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. With 1.2 remaining. Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby. And it's 107-106. Bedlam here at the Garden. They can't believe it.
It's the greatest comeback in NBA playoff history. The Knicks win it 107-106 over the Spurs to take a 3-1 series lead back to San Antonio, a play New Yorkers will remember for the rest of their lives. In the meantime, the Cardinals have their own star coming out, and that would be in the All-Star game coming up in Philadelphia, I would think. Playing in right field for the St. Louis Cardinals. Number 18, Jordan Walker. He steps up with 2 on in the fourth.
Peterson, the lefty, delivers, and that pitch is hit hard. Deep left center field, but it's going to stay in the ballpark, or is it? No, it's over the wall. A big fly for Jordan Walker. A 3-run homer. That carried over the 370 sign.
Ricky Horton with the call on KMOX. Walker gives the Cardinals a 7-0 lead. And when it was 7-2 in the ninth, just for fun, Alec Burleson, a couple extra.
Burleson 0 for 4. He swings and hits it deep to right field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a gunner. A 10-game hitting streak for Alec Burleson. and it's 9-2 Cardinals in the ninth inning.
Cardinals go on to win this one 9-2. They hit another home run earlier from Nelson Velazquez. Chip Carey with Ollie Marmol. Cards have won 6 in a row.
Well, Ollie, getting 9 is always a good recipe to win a game, and the way you did it was a lot of fun. You powered up.
No doubt. Guys played really well today. Palante did a nice job. The offense showed up, man. Walker drove in 4. Another homer, big swing by him there. Velasquez able to drive in 2 with his homer against the lefty. And Burley tags one late, but really, really good showing by everybody.
Let's start with Palante. What did you like most about his performance? He's got a 7th win.
Yeah, he filled up the zone. He was on the attack. Played the chase with the curveball at times. The slider was a good pitch for him. Pitched in to lefties, used the sinker into righties. So overall mix was really good.
Matt Swanson, another terrific performance, 2 scoreless innings.
Yeah, to be able to throw, 13 pitches in 2 innings, filled up the zone as well, almost 80% strike. So that was really good to see. And that's the guy we remember from last year, man, just coming in, a lot of confidence. That was good.
And the roster tweaks you've made over the last week, they're paying dividends. This lineup continues to get deeper and deeper and deeper.
No doubt. What Velasquez was able to do against their lefty there was exactly what was needed. And then Fermin drives in 1 there at the end as well. So it's looking pretty good.
And now you're set up with Hunter Dobbins tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've seen him out of relief for 2 times. To have him have the start, everybody's excited to see it.
Nice to see you smile. Let's go to sweep.
Chip and Ollie, thank you. You know what? I want to hear the cut of the game from the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. It is this one from Nelly.
First pitch to Velasquez. Here it comes. That ball is hit hard. Deep left center field. That's deep, and it is gone. A big fly for Nelson Velasquez. A 2-run homer. And the Cardinals now lead 4-0.
Watch out for this Cardinals team now. They're only 3.5 out in the NL Central, second place all to themselves. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play, 1 big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a kids' Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fred Birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family-favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/kidssunday.
And for the adults, there's an ice-cold Budweiser waiting for you. The official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball, Budweiser, the king of beers since 1876. They are celebrating 150 years of Budweiser. That delicious ice-cold lager made right here in St. Louis. You can stock up on Budweiser at your nearest retailer, or you can just go to Budweiser.com and get yourself some patriotic merch, because you know who else is celebrating a big milestone birthday this summer? America. 250 years for the United States. So the cans that are out right now, I saw them Deerbergs yesterday. The America since 1776 cans that say the United States of America, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This Bud's for you. For the last 150 years, crack open a Bud. This Bud's for you.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 7:21. This is Total Information AM. Let's get you updated on your ride in and also the weather. It's cloudy out there now, but we should see some sunshine soon. Roger Brand is probably seeing some backups. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's a few slowdowns out there right now, Debbie. If you're westbound on 64, you've got delays both sides of 159. It's slow briefly through 111. We had a crash west of there. They cleared. Then 64 is backed up at the 70 split. In fact, 5570 itself is on the brakes, approaching Exchange onto 64 through 3rd Street, where you lose those right lanes for road work. Northbound Route 3, a little busy coming up to Queenie, but it's not that bad there now, so that looks better. Northbound 270, a slowdown through Gravois. Then north of Doherty Ferry, all the way up through Ladue is pretty busy. South 270, just approaching Ladue, is a little off the pace. We look good out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 70, eastbound 64. Well, 64 is slow, though. Just east of Annie Guns, headed up the hill to Clarkson, but it looks okay both directions on 64 right now at 170. And there's still restrictions on Antire Road, the 1700 block south of Beaumont Antire Ranch there, where we have a serious rescue crash. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Zero Res wants to help clean your home. Big summer savings with 3 rooms clean starting at just $129 and take an additional $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
Hot and humid today, high 98 from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. A chance of a heavy thunderstorm late this afternoon and evening. It'll cool things off tonight and tomorrow. Low 65 tonight, high 85 tomorrow. It's 75 right now.
The news continues on KMOX. Inflation in the United States has surged to a 3-year high.
The 4.2%, almost the entire increase in inflation, no surprise, from a year ago is gas, oil, energy. In fact, gas is 40% higher from a year ago. Now, it has leveled off lately.
Dave Simons with One Private Wealth tells KMOX's Chris and Amy that the markets didn't blink this time. He says the market kind of shrugged its shoulders because it knew it was coming and they just moved on to other things. We recently reported that nearly half of Americans say they're worse off financially than a year ago. That's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. A Gallup poll shows 55% of people viewing their personal finances as worsening. Well, all of that can have a trickle-down effect you might not think about. Dr. Cheryl Watkins-Knott is joining me. She is the president and CEO of the YWCA of Metro St. Louis.
There's a clear, consistent relationship between financial stress and economic downturn with increases in domestic violence and sexual assault. There was, during the Great Recession, as we all know, this was in late 2007 and mid-2009, and also during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a 3 times increase in emergency room visits for domestic violence incidents during this time period. And 80% of domestic violence shelters nationwide reported increased demand during economic downturns.
When people are very stressed, not having enough money to pay the bills is very stressful, but also people can't leave. If you don't have the money, you can't leave.
Absolutely. And that is one of the biggest factors. I think people think about domestic violence as someone having physical harm done to them. It can show itself in many, many different ways. Economic abuse is something that is also, I think, very large that people don't realize. When a partner controls money, employment, or access to basic needs, they don't have opportunities to leave. 95% of all domestic violence cases having a portion of financial dependency is a primary tool of control. So that, when people say, oh, why don't they leave? It's not as easy as someone picking up their suitcase or, sometimes it's just a tote bag, but they have other factors to consider. If they don't have a job, if they don't have a bank account, if they have children, if I leave, where do I go? It's not just a simple response to, okay, this person is mistreating me, I'm leaving. There's a lot for women to contemplate before they leave. And that's where the why comes in. We have a domestic violence, sexual assault drop-in center there where many people who need to leave, we help them plan to safely leave. So they're not just exiting without a strategy and without a plan. That is what the why brings to the table for many of these survivors. We serve over 10,000 women and their families a year. But when you look at domestic violence, we serve over 1,200 survivors a year. And it's going to increase. And what's sad is about the economics at the federal level as well as the state level are diminishing for those types of services.
That is Dr. Cheryl Watkins-Knott, president and CEO of the YWCA of Metro St. Louis. The YWCA's program Sexual Assault Response Team recently was awarded the Purple Ribbon from the Alliance for Hope International.
The state auditor is urging the governor to take action now to proactively balance Missouri's state budget before more painful cuts are needed in the future. Scott Fitzpatrick says expenditures are projected to be almost $2 billion more than revenue for fiscal year 2027. And he says the general fund will be completely exhausted by 2028.
In August, voters statewide will be asked to eliminate the state income tax, which makes up about 2/3 of state revenue. It will be replaced by sales tax hikes on everything, including services that aren't taxed now. A group opposing that idea calls it an everything tax.
It is 7:27. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Jim Brennan and McKelvey Homes. Boy, do they have something going right now. McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey. I can't say enough about McKelvey Homes and all that they do for the St. Louis area. Giving back every time they sell a home, giving back $1,898, $1,898. That's because every time they sell a home, they are doing that for the community. They give back to a nonprofit every single time they sell a home. $1,898. And are they selling homes? Oh, absolutely. Let's take a look right now at Strawberry Farms. Let's take a look right now at Cottleville, Main Street, Cottleville Trails. We can see all of these great places. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri, new display home open, special opening savings. We're talking about walking trails, easy proximity to food and drink and entertainment, great school districts. McKelvey's been building for St. Louis families since 1898. You'll get legendary quality, prime locations, people who stand for our community. McKelvey Homes, move up to McKelvey.
You're hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
City SC's Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Fuse Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Pump up the volume. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
It is 7:30, and we're starting to see a little bit of sunshine peeking through the clouds. It's now 75 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. That means a lot of heat. We'll get to that. First, Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, you got slow traffic on westbound 64 right now, briefly through 159. Then it's a more solid jam now, 64 west of 25th Street and 5570 from 203 onto 64 at 3rd Street, where at the Kingbridge exit there, where those lanes are shut down. The right lane's closed at that point. Northbound 270 approaching Tesson Ferry to Gravois, slow now north of Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. South 270, it doesn't look bad coming down through Ladue. At least for now. Southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 out west. Wentzville Way is fine. It is slow. Annie Guns to about Clarkson on eastbound 64, but both directions at 64 at the Interbelt still look good. A little slow eastbound 44 at Miraz, eastbound 30. West Watson up to 270 is kind of busy. 55 is a good run from Festus all the way up into downtown. And there's still restrictions on Antire Road, the 1700 block, where we had an earlier rescue crash. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, weather-wise, it looks like a lot of the clouds are moving out. We're starting to see some more sunshine. And in fact, it's going to be more sun than clouds today. Breezy, very hot. 97 degrees. The real field temperature is well over 100. And then we'll have that heavy, gusty thunderstorm moving through later this afternoon into this evening. And our AccuWeather meteorologist says those could be some strong storms with flooding, downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts. The good news is it's going to cool things down for tomorrow. So mostly sunny and 85 tomorrow, currently 75 downtown.
It's 7:32 on Total Information AM on KMOX. In the news this morning, a child found alone at Cahokia Mounds State Historic Site Sunday evening, and the parents have yet to be located.
Detective Joshua Field says the child is unharmed and estimated to be between 1 and 3 weeks old. He tells KMOX they are still searching for the family for two primary reasons.
Trying to understand who the family is and what the circumstances surrounding this was, and to make sure that the family of the child is safe. And then the second part of that is that, yes, there is a criminal investigation that goes along with this.
He adds they do not believe the child was left accidentally, and the parents could face child abandonment or endangerment charges. The child is currently in foster care. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The audit into Francis Howell paying a superintendent $250,000 for no work has now been released.
State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick's investigation into the Francis Howell School Board found both they and the search committee they chose missed quote-unquote concerns with Mike Dominguez not until after they entered into a 3-year contract with him to serve as their superintendent.
They found out after the fact, after they'd hired them, that there were some things they were concerned about in his past and his prior employment. And rather than see that employment contract through, the board made the decision to part ways with him.
Those concerns, serious enough for the board to lose confidence in Dominguez and place him on leave, were kept from the public when the board elected to mutually terminate his contract and sign a confidentiality agreement, which is why the auditor will not elaborate. Dominguez was paid the rest of his $250,000 salary for his first year at Francis Howell 3 months after accepting the role, but never performing it. Fitzpatrick's report says Dominguez threatened legal action against the board if they attempted to fire him for cause. Fitzpatrick adds the board is, quote unquote, washing their hands of this and not accepting responsibility for their actions. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money minute next.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is 7:35. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Tom Ackerman. We'll get you updated on traffic and weather coming up in 4 minutes. But first, let's get you your money report. It is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Wall Street is looking to get back on track after yesterday's stumble for stocks. The Dow plunged 935 points, but this morning, futures are looking at a significant comeback on hopes for a Middle East peace deal. Meantime, shares of Oracle taking a hit this morning. Investors are concerned about the profitability of its artificial intelligence infrastructure business. Oracle has long been known for its database software, but now it has refashioned itself as a provider of computing power for artificial intelligence work. Its spending has exploded on its massive build-out of data centers. And big brands are gearing up for the World Cup. Companies from McDonald's to Verizon have bet millions of dollars on advertising during the tournament. According to a poll from Morning Consult, Americans connect Coca-Cola most often with World Cup marketing. The soda giant began advertising at the tournament in 1950 and is an official sponsor once again. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Don't miss a hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the St. Charles Convention Center in the North Hall. Choose from over 25 American-made units on display. See hot tubs, swim spas, and cold tubs all ready for immediate delivery. Save up to 50% on MSRP. Financing is available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE. That's 1-800-SPA-SALE.
You know, I was just texting with Dr. Greg Birdie just a couple of days ago talking baseball. He knows his ball, I'll tell you that. He also knows eyes. And Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Prasadi, Dr. Andy Royer, they are the doctors. Doctors go to them, over 250 of them, to get their eyes checked. So certainly I was going to do that, and so should you. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. Ready to take your phone call and get you set up for an annual eye exam. It's a good thing to do, not only for your eyes and your vision, but your overall health. Ophthalmology Associates, their commitment to eye health goes hand in hand with genuine care for their patients. An experienced team focused on building a lasting relationship with each patient we serve, whether it's checking your eyes or talking baseball, which Dr. Birdie and I do both. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Malhotra, Dr. Brusati, Dr. Royer, Ophthalmology Associates, the doctors. YourEyeDoc.com.
I feel like I'm getting robbed when I bet the Stanley Cup on a sports book.
Dude, delete that app. You need to be using Polymarket.
Polymarket?
Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. You trade against other fans, not the house. That means more money for you and less for greedy sports books.
Even during the Stanley Cup?
Especially during the Stanley Cup. Polymarket is an official prediction market of the NHL.
No way. What's the catch?
No catch. And it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident you'll never go back, they're giving you $50 free on your first trade.
I'm deleting my sportsbook app. How do I get started?
Download Polymarket now and use promo code SHOT for $50 free for your first trade. Stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Download Polymarket and use promo code SHOT for $50 free on your first trade. Use promo code SHOT.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Actually, that would not be correct. It is not today at noon. You know what today at noon is? Cardinal baseball, 12:10 start, 11:15 pregame. There is no Gas House Gang today. The Cardinals have a day game today against the Mets.
Hey, it's 7:40 and I'm starting to see the sun. So if you're just heading out the door, you will need those sunglasses, even though I know when you were getting ready for work, it was probably pouring. It's been that kind of a morning. We'll have the weather for you in just a moment with our AccuWeather meteorologist. But first, here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad considering we're at our peak time for the rush hour traffic, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Choruses of Harmony, STL, northbound 270. It's slow. North of 55 through Gravois most of the way to 44, and then Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. But it's just slow, not jammed. I don't see any stop-and-go traffic through there. Eastbound 64, let's call it, east of Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake. There's just a little slowdown after that. 170 into about Big Bend. Westbound 64, McCausland through Bellevue is a little heavy, but it's not that big of a deal. The rest of the interstates on the Missouri side look good. On the Illinois side, it's not bad. Just the road work back up downtown. That's where we want to talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route, because westbound 64 is jammed almost at 37th Street, 5570 approaching 203 onto 64 at 3rd Street due to that road work. So to avoid the Poplar Street Bridge, usual Veterans Bridge is wide open. McKinley Bridge is such a short backup at the Missouri side, or you can go south on 255. It's wide open across the JB Bridge. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Harmony STL presents Now Playing, featuring the ambassadors of Harmony, Visions of Harmony, the Recruits, and Fleet Street performing the hits that shaped generations. Saturday, June 13th, 2 p.m., Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets at harmonystl.com. It's now 7:42, and AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Here comes the sun. I see it.
Yes, and now it's off to the races in terms of temperatures, Debbie. We're starting out in the low 70s, relatively comfortable by comparison to what it's going to be like later today. When we get to the mid-90s, probably going to fall shy of the record of 98 from 1933, but it doesn't matter. It's going to feel like it's over 100. But then late this afternoon, we're talking like after 5, 6 o'clock to maybe 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, thunderstorms are going to come through, and they can be severe with damaging wind gusts, a threat of tornadoes, hail, and flooding downpours. Are high again, but gets about 97. But behind those thunderstorms, it gradually turns cooler as it clears out overnight. By morning, we're in the mid-60s. Beautiful day tomorrow with sunshine, much lower humidity, the high 85. Clouds and some sunshine Saturday. Concerned that it gets more humid and could lead to a thunderstorm in the afternoon, the high 84. Some showers and a thunderstorm appear likely Saturday night. Sunday may start with clouds and a thunderstorm, but then the sun returns. Our high only 78, and we stay in the 70s with some sunshine on Monday. Right now, it's 70 at St. Peter's, 77 in Florissant, and partly sunny, 72 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Cardinals with a great win. A politician makes an unbelievable catch. And speaking of unbelievable, you won't believe what happened at Madison Square Garden last night. It's all in sports in 2 minutes. Southern Baptists have wrapped up a 2-day meeting in Florida by taking the first step to ban women pastors.
Thousands of Southern Baptists overwhelmingly voted by a 3-1 margin to advance a formal ban on women pastors in the nation's largest conservative denomination. The AP's Lisa Dwyer.
The vote on the amendment easily exceeds the required 2/3 majority. A similar 2/3 vote is required at next year's meeting to become part of the Southern Baptist Constitution.
While the Southern Baptist Convention cannot tell its self-governing churches what to do, it does have the power to expel churches from SBC membership, declaring them not in friendly cooperation. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
An urgent warning from an AI creator. Get it under control now. Dario Amodei, the CEO and co-founder of AI giant Anthropic, tells ABC News he is concerned about the future of everyone if government regulation is not instituted, and he believes the United States has to set that example.
If we are the ones who are leading in AI, which I think we should continue to do, then it is easier to get our adversaries to agree to at least some minimal amount of restraint. I don't think we're going to get a lot. I don't trust China at all.
The House of Representatives holding floor debates Wednesday evening on short-term visa extension. Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, set to lapse on June 12th, allows agencies, including the CIA and the FBI, to collect communications from foreign targets overseas without a warrant. Here's Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee.
I believe there is a robust bipartisan majority in this House to support the needed reforms in making sure that we interpose the voice of a judge before the personal communications of American citizens are invaded by the government.
A vote is expected later this morning. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., last night, members of the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate gathered for the annual congressional baseball game. And from DeSmet High School, born in Bridgeton, Truman State, SLU Law School, playing in left field. How about this?
Really a prime June night. That one struck to left field, and what a dive! Oh, what a great
Eric
play!
Schmidt. Amazing catch down the left field line.
An unbelievable catch by U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt wearing a Cardinals hat in left field for the Republicans who beat the Democrats. Schmidt bleeding from his nose. They had to stop the bleeding. A cut as he dove, laid out, ran down the ball, and made an incredible catch. The 50-year-old U.S. Senator playing in the congressional baseball game. Meanwhile, just north in New York City, the Cardinals taking on the Mets at Citi Field, and this was about power. Nelson Velasquez.
First pitch to Velasquez. Here it comes. That ball is hit hard. Deep left center field. That's deep, and it is gone. A big fly for Nelson Velasquez. A 2-run homer, and the Cardinals now lead 4-0.
Ricky Horton with the call on KMOX, 4th inning.
Peterson, the lefty, delivers, and that pitch is hit hard. Deep left center field, but it's going to stay in the ballpark, or is it? No, it's over the wall. A big fly for Jordan Walker. A 3-run homer. That carried over the 370 sign.
Walker has 17 home runs already this season, also in double digits.
Burleson 0 for 4. He swings and hits it deep to right field. Back to the track, the wall. It's a gunner. A 10-game hitting streak for Alec Burleson. And it's 9-2 Cardinals in the 9th inning.
Cardinals crush the Mets 9-2. Danny Wexelman with Jordan Walker.
I've got Jordan Walker with me. Hey, career high now for you in home runs. I don't want to get twisted in the numbers here, but does that mean anything to you?
I mean, it's cool for sure. But yeah, as you said, like I really don't want to look at the numbers and not look at them at the end of the season.
What makes you most proud of the work you've put in this season so far?
Just kind of like how I'm feeling at the dish. I feel a lot more comfortable. And so it just shows that the work I put in, did a little something. So I think that's really what it is. Nothing more than that.
Hey, we see you guys communicating to each other in the dugout between at bats. We saw JJ talking to Burley for quite a while. What does that tell you about this group?
Yeah, I mean, our ability to communicate to each other about the pitchers, I think, is unbelievable. And I think that's why, we're so good at, doing the little things. And I think that's something that we need to take care of the rest of the season. But, I mean, it's unbelievable. I love it.
Can you please describe the vibes in this clubhouse and in the dugout?
It's unreal. The energy's there. Let's keep it going for the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
Cardinals won 6 in a row. They go for 7 today at noon. A 12-10 start at Citi Field against the Mets. Cardinals are only 3.5 out in the Central. They learned late last night that the Brewers had lost to the A's. Innsbrook Resort is a great place to kick back and listen to some Cardinal baseball while you got a line in the water. Maybe you're fishing in one of the 100 lakes. Maybe you're watching the kids play. Maybe you're just gathered with friends and family and enjoying an ice cold drink, or gathered around the bonfire at night. It's going to be a great weekend in Innsbrook. Once that humidity cools down, everything cools down a little bit. It's going to be great. Innsbrook-resort.com, where every day is the weekend. They have condos, they have chalets, they have it all. It is a wonderful place to unwind. Innsbrook Resort, right here in the St. Louis area. It's in Warren County, right off the Wright City exit off I-70. Just minutes from there, you will find the gates to Innsbrook. And once you make your way through security, you're going to find an incredible layout of 7,500 acres. That's bigger than most parks in our country. Just an amazing place. Innsbrook-resort.com. All right. It's time for the parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports betting the way it should be. I'm very curious what the line is for Game 5. I've talked about it all morning. Just an epic comeback or collapse, whichever way you want to look at it, by the Spurs, losing a 29-point lead. They were up 81-52 in the third quarter. And the Knicks completed the greatest comeback in NBA playoff history, beating them on an OG Anunoby tip-in with 1.7 seconds left, 107-106. It was all incredible, except for the fact that the Knicks didn't cover the 2-point spread, but whatever. I've told you for a month the Knicks are going to win the NBA title, and folks, they are 1 win away from doing just that. I hope you got in on it when I told you way back when that they were going to win the NBA championship. The line on this game, however, is Spurs -5.5. I think they might be right. I think the Spurs, with their backs against the wall, will win the game. Can they cover 5.5? I'm going to say no. I'm going to go Knicks plus 5.5 on that one. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbruck Resort Sports Betting. Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark, $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now, cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It's 7:52. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still slow on northbound 270, north of 55, up through almost to 44, and then north of there up to Ladue. So pretty much not much of a break in it on that run through, unfortunately. Southbound 61, ramping on to eastbound 70. That ramp's backed up. Eastbound 70 east of the Blanchard into 270 slow. Eastbound 64, Andy Guns to about Timberlake's heavy, a little slowdown. Approaching 170 to Bay Bend. South 170, a couple of spots. Approaching Delmore to 64, where it's slow. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, you've got heavier traffic running through there. On the Illinois side, westbound 5570 Exchange 64 at 25th Street jammed over to the 3rd Street construction zone where those right lanes are closed. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Going to be a hot one today, Roger. We're looking at temperatures 97 with real feels well over 100 and the humidity stifling. But we are going to cool off tomorrow. After a heavy thunderstorm late this afternoon and this evening, we're looking at a low of 65 tonight and tomorrow a high of 85 with less humidity. Currently, it's climbing. We're into 77 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:53. The St. Charles County Council wants to crack down on problem vacation rentals. The Trumbull County staff say is catching them in the act. The director of community development, Mike Hurlbert, told the council the complaints are almost impossible to act on in real time.
We go there and to investigate, and it's gone. The people have left. The car is no longer parked on the grass. The party is no longer happening.
A proposed ordinance would require existing rentals to register, cap how close new ones can be to each other, and let the county pull a permit from repeat offenders. The council sent the measure back to staff to rework.
A St. Louis congressman was among the lawmakers questioning Bill Gates behind closed doors over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Gates testified voluntarily before the House Oversight Committee, calling his decision to ever meet Epstein a grave error in judgment, but denying he knew anything about Epstein's crimes. Democratic Representative Wesley Bell of St. Louis, a former prosecutor, was in the room.
I was able to ask Mr. Gates questions regarding, his knowledge of these horrific crimes.
Gates says he met Epstein only to discuss philanthropy and has not been accused of any wrongdoing. Lawmakers gave mixed reviews of Gates's answers. Some called him cooperative, others combative.
With Social Security facing insolvency in 2032, Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says Congress has buried its head in the sand for too long. The latest trustees report warns benefits could be slashed by about a fifth if lawmakers don't do something. On the Senate floor, Durbin says he's not going it alone.
He's teamed with 3 other senators from both parties to force the issue.
Senators Bill Cassidy, Tim Kaine, Tom Tillis, and I are saying to Congress, don't wait, do something.
Their proposal is less about one specific fix than about forcing the debate. Durbin wants the Senate to open the floor and let members put competing plans up for amendment with one ground rule. Any plan has to keep Social Security solvent for at least another 50 years. Then, he says, take the votes.
For the first time, Illinois has a statewide digital library resource program. We get more from Roger Plummer.
Through their local library or through the Illinois State Library's website, every Illinois resident now has free access to a vast collection of trusted online resources, including ebooks, journals, magazines, newspapers, and research databases. The Secretary of State's office says in 2023, 51% of Illinois public libraries reported they did not offer an online database subscription.
It's 7:56.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula.
Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
You can never have too many tools. Shop DeWalt deals at Lowe's. Get a free Select DeWalt 20-volt max power tool when you buy a Select 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery kit. Plus, get a free additional DeWalt 20-volt max 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a DeWalt 10-inch 20-volt max dual-bevel compounded miter saw. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
After a disaster, emotional recovery takes time. Show Me Hope Missouri is here for you with free confidential support. Counselors help with stress, coping skills, and connect to resources. If the St. Louis tornado impacted you, visit moshowmehope.org from Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Let's get you an update from Roger Brand on the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, North 270, Debbie, still slow approaching Gravois, midway up to 44, and then north of Big Bend all the way up to Ladue is slow. Eastbound 70 east of the Blanchett into our city, a little heavy. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway ramping onto eastbound 70 out west is backed up, and then there's slow traffic from about Boone's Crossing past Clarkson, and then slow 170 to Big Bend, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. You've got heavy traffic there. South 270, just slow approaching Olive from south of Page. And on the Illinois side, 64 is backed up at 25th Street, 5570 past 203 through the work zone at 3rd Street. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy sky, but the sun has arrived. It's 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories Megan Lynch is working on for next hour. A new Illinois law that allows assisted suicide is set to take effect later this year. Megan will talk with a reporter who's covered aid in dying legislation for decades.
Should a school district have paid thousands of dollars to a superintendent who never worked a day in the district? Sean Malone speaks with the Missouri auditor who's reviewed the deal.
Is there still a shortage of pennies? We'll get the latest from the Missouri Bankers Association.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Times of sun and clouds today. It's going to become breezy, very hot and humid this afternoon with a high of 97. Watch out for a gusty thunderstorm toward evening.
I'll have Cardinals pregame at 11:15 this morning.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A second day of new attacks between the U.S. and Iran. American forces launching attacks on Iranian targets after President Trump declared they waited too long to strike a peace deal. ABC's Martha Raddatz in Jerusalem.
Iran has fired back, again launching its own missiles at U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. All the missiles intercepted, but debris damaging homes, vehicles, and causing minor injuries to a child in Bahrain.
Europe's central bank has just raised interest rates by a quarter point, trying to fight back inflation driven by the war with Iran. The NYPD now says
meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Times of sun and clouds today. It's going to become breezy.
NBA Finals history, coming back from 29 points down to beat the Spurs in Game 5 of the Finals. The World Cup starts this afternoon. Mexico City will be hosting the first game, Mexico versus South Africa. The first game in the U.S. will be tomorrow in California, Team USA versus Paraguay. This is ABC News. An urgent warning from the CEO and co-founder of AI giant Anthropic, Dario Amodei, tells ABC's Lindsay Davis he is concerned about the future of everyone if government regulation isn't instituted. And he believes the United States must be the country setting the example.
If we are the ones who are leading in AI, which I think we should continue to do, then it is easier to get our adversaries to agree to at least some minimal amount of restraint. I don't think we're going to get a lot. I don't trust China at all.
The onus for protecting others, he says, falls on everyone. Using AI may get less expensive. The Wall Street Journal says OpenAI is considering cutting its prices in an effort to pull customers away from rival Anthropic. Both companies are preparing to go public. SpaceX makes its Wall Street debut tomorrow. Investors expected to gobble up 555 million shares at $135 apiece. Founder Elon Musk poised to possibly become the country's first trillionaire. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have mostly cloudy skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, June 11th. I'm Megan Lynch. A new Mississippi River Bridge, it's in the planning stages. Here's KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
The St. Louis Regional Freightway has released its list of top transportation priorities for next year, and a replacement of the Martin Luther King Bridge over the Mississippi is one of the biggest unfunded needs on it. Mary Lamy of the Freightway tells KMOX they're nowhere close to covering the cost.
There is $10 million that currently is programmed to start some of the preliminary engineering. Obviously, it's a $10 million is a tremendous amount of money, but if the overall project is $629 million, we have a long way to go.
That money would come from a mix of state and federal sources, funded in stages, engineering first, then land and utilities, and finally construction, likely years away. She says while the bridge doesn't carry a lot of cross-country traffic, it is important for local industry and deliveries, and when there's a jam on the other bridges. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A proposed crackdown on short-term rentals hit a wall at the St. Charles County Council this week. The measure would limit where new Airbnb and Vrbo properties can operate. It's part of an effort to stop rentals from bunching up on a single street and to rein in the ones generating noise and parties. But the bill drew sharp objections from inside the council itself, including from a member who owns short-term rentals of his own.
If somebody has a big house with 3 bedrooms and they have some big spaces in the basement, some great rooms, or great and with a pull-out couch, you're gonna tell them they can't have people sit on a pull-out couch? That's like, this is almost getting to we're veering like to communism with some of these rules and this stuff. It's getting to be ridiculous.
That's County Councilman Joe Brazel, but supporters say the bill isn't about heavy-handed government, it's about neighbors. The proposal borrows a spacing rule from the county's group home code to keep rentals from clustering. Councilman Timothy Baker.
I use the analogy of a cul-de-sac with 10 homes. If you live there, you don't want 6 of them to be Airbnbs. I mean, you just don't.
No, I understand it.
The council took a no vote. The bill goes back to county staff to look for a middle ground. Collinsville police searching for answers after a newborn was found alone at the Cahokia Mounds Historic Site.
Detective Joshua Field says the child was in good condition and unharmed when found in its car seat in the parking lot Sunday evening. He says they can't say for sure the intentions of the parents, but
based on some of the initial witness statements that had seen what we believe to possibly be the vehicle that the child was in earlier, it does not appear at this time that the child was accidentally left behind.
He says they are searching for the family in part to make sure they're safe, but also for a child abandonment or endangerment investigation. The child is currently in foster care and estimated to be between 1 and 3 weeks old. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
There's a shift in classroom tech in a Northeast Missouri school district.
In a lot of school districts, kids get Chromebooks, which are laptops for schoolwork, and they take them home. In Rawls County, the superintendent is not going to do that anymore for the younger kids. This will start next school year. David Kugler says the feedback from families and the community is helping guide that decision.
Honestly, like 100% positive. Put it on a Wednesday or Thursday, like afternoon. I looked last night, it's like 87,000 views. I think we struck a vein in the culture wars here in regards to schooling and technology.
Kugler tells MissouriNet the change affects kindergarten through 8th grade, and students will use shared Chromebooks in class when teachers decide they're needed to support learning. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
A new report from the Social Security trustees setting off alarms on Capitol Hill. It warns the program won't be able to pay full benefits starting in 2032, and that without action from Congress, checks could be cut by about 22%. roughly $455 a month for the average beneficiary. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin took to the Senate floor to spell out what that would mean.
Every day, seniors are forced to make decisions that most Americans pray they'll never have to face, like whether to buy groceries or pay the utility bill, refill their medications, or pay their rent or mortgage.
Durbin says he's now joined 3 colleagues, 2 Republicans and a fellow Democrat, pressing Congress to fix the problem before the deadline arrives. The markets didn't blink yesterday with news that inflation surged to a 3-year high.
The 4.2%, almost the entire increase in inflation, no surprise, from a year ago is gas, oil, energy. In fact, gas is 40% higher from a year ago. Now, it has leveled off lately.
Dave Simons of One Private Wealth says the market shrugged because it already knew it was coming and factored it in. With the FIFA World Cup kicking off today, officials warning fans to be on the lookout for scams. The Missouri Attorney General, Catherine Hanaway, says fans need to be wary of fake websites. One way to avoid those is by going to FIFA.com, the official website. She also warns visitors to book stays through official and trusted websites like Airbnb and Vrbo, and to pay for lodging or World Cup tickets with a credit card instead of cash, debit card, or apps like Cash App or Venmo. Those forms of payment don't include fraud protection like credit cards do. Coming up on Total Information AM, by September, nearly a third of Americans will live in states with legal aid in dying. Illinois is one of those states. I'm going to talk with Paula Spann, who's covered aid and dying legislation for years. She writes the new old age column for the New York Times and KFF Health News. So stay with us. Traffic and weather first, though. It's coming up in 2 minutes here on KMOX.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And I like to joke, and I say it all the time, like my work with FanDuel Sportsbook goes well beyond the time that it came online in Missouri. I used to have to travel to play. Not anymore. Now I get to play at home, and you can too, whether it's baseball season, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, and now soccer. On the biggest stage of the world, FanDuel is stepping up. They are changing the game because sometimes the player you've got gets subbed off and your bet goes off with them, but not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. So that's right. So if your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it to the final whistle. No need to go anywhere. You just hang in there. You still got your shot. But visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. Super easy to do. And let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. Just remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times, some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, let's get the latest on the morning rush with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still backed up downtown, Megan, westbound 64 west of 25th Street and 5570 at Exchange on through the work zone on 64 at 3rd Street where you lose those right lanes. If you're on northbound 270, Tesson Ferry through Gravois, like midway to 44, still slow, then approaching Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladue. That's still busy. Southbound 61 ramping on to eastbound 70. That's sort of bogged down out west. It's still heavy. Chesterfield Parkway west to almost Timberlake, and then briefly again approaching 170 through Hanley. Westbound 64, Big Bend to Hanley, just kind of busy. South 170 only slow at the U Club Tower, so really that's not all that bad. Also seeing a backup on 111 at the railroad tracks there north of 5570, some congestion. That's a construction area, I believe, as well. And on 255 up there between Seminary Road and 111, there's some heavier traffic up in both directions running there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A shower and thunderstorm around early. More sun than clouds for the balance of today. Breezy, very hot and humid this afternoon with a high of 97. Accurate with real field temperatures over 100. The record is 98 from 1933. A heavy gusty thunderstorm will charge through the area during the late afternoon and evening hours. It can be severe with downpours, hail, damaging winds, and a threat for tornadoes. Then clearing behind this front later tonight and turning cooler, low 65. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Gorgeous day, cooler and less humid, the high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Mostly cloudy skies today, 72 in Florissant, 72 in St. Peters. And right now we do have a little bit of sunshine, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. This fall, Illinois will become the 13th state where medical aid in dying is legal. Our next guest has watched the progression of those legislative efforts over the years. Paula Spann writes the new old age column for the New York Times and KFF Health News, and she has a new article looking at the latest laws. Paula, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Glad to be with you, Megan.
It seems like several decades ago, this was considered morally repugnant to aid someone in dying. What has changed?
I don't know if it was considered repugnant. It was just had not been tried. And people were afraid that it would be abused, that people would be talked into asking for it when they didn't really want it or they didn't qualify, that it would make suicide something that people didn't have to fear or worry about. And so the very first state, Oregon, that enacted legislation after a couple of legal challenges in 1997, it stood alone for a while people waited to see what happened. But in the intervening years, now there are 13 states, and we see that really the number of people who use this law is very low. There hasn't really been any credible evidence of abuse. And so the more states adopt it, the more other state legislators say, well, maybe we could do that too.
You know, in your latest article, you look at where Americans stand based on some surveys. Give us a few details. How do people feel about this?
Well, there's actually very broad public support for medical aid in dying. One of these studies, a big national study, comes from Pew Research. It's a highly reputable organization. And they asked Americans if they thought that medical aid in dying was morally wrong, either because they thought it was acceptable or they just didn't think it was a moral issue. And what's surprising here is that a narrow majority of Republicans, 51%, said that they thought it was permissible, 76% of Democrats, and also majorities of Catholics, even though the Catholic Church has steadfastly opposed this legislation, and Jews and white Protestants who are non-evangelical. And in New York, which also just enacted this law, and it takes effect in August, a Siena poll found 54% of respondents were supportive, including, this is unusual, majorities of men and women, all age groups, and people in New York City, in the suburbs, and upstate New York, which is more politically conservative and rural. So even though most people do not actively want to use this protocol for themselves, they do seem to think that it should be available for other people if they want it.
Where do physicians and other medical professionals fall on this?
The American Medical Association is in opposition, but in the states, and this has been an effort in the states, some medical associations, as in New York, actively support it, and others just said, well, we're neutral. We're not going to take a side. So medical opposition seems to be ebbing away somewhat.
You mentioned early in our talk about, abuses that people are worried about. Across the legislation that you've seen across these 13 states, what safeguards exist to try to prevent abuse of these types of laws?
Well, none of these laws make it simple to use aid in dying. First of all, you need a terminal diagnosis. you have to be within 6 months of expected death from a terminal disease. And you have to request aid in dying from 2 different doctors, and there's a waiting period in between. In New York State, it's actually 3 doctors because Governor Kathy Hochul added a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And you have to be able, when you get the prescription for lethal medication, you have to be able to self-ingest. No one can give it to you, inject you with it. You have to drink the drugs yourself. So that has probably contributed to keeping the numbers low. But what's happening in some states, Megan, is that legislators see that there hasn't been abuse, the system seems to be working, and that in some cases their own safeguards have made it so difficult to use that people were starting the process and then dying before they could access the drugs. So some states, including California, are beginning to liberalize the restrictions just a bit. So in California, there's still a waiting period between the 2 doctors' requests, but it's been cut from 15 days to 48 hours. 15 days is a long time when you're dying. In New Mexico, which is a pretty rural state, there aren't so many doctors, and so the statute was written to allow physician assistants and advanced practice nurses to also be the people that would sign off on aid in dying.
How often do people actually make these end-of-life decisions? You said very few.
It's about 1% or less in every state where this is legal. It's about 1% in Oregon, where it's been 30 years. It's 1/3% in California. In Vermont, it is the highest that I could calculate, and that's 1.5%. And that's because Vermont is one of now 2 states where there's not a residency requirement. So people from out of state can go to Vermont or Oregon to use aid in dying if they want to. And there may be others to follow as there are lawsuits about this.
That was going to be my next question, whether any of these states are looking at legal challenges to these laws right now.
Yes, there are already legal challenges in a couple of states. I think it's California and Delaware. And the group that brings these suits, which is called the Patients' Rights Action Fund, told me that they were planning more. So it's possible that in Illinois and New York, where these laws are supposed to take effect in August and then September, that there could be lawsuits there too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Paula, thank you so much. Where can people find your latest article?
On the New York Times website, it is under New Old Age, and it's also on KFF Health News, which has no paywall.
Wonderful. Paula, thank you so much for your time and laying out this issue for us.
Thank you, Megan.
That is Paula Spann. Again, she writes the New Old Age column for the New York Times and KFF Health News. Coming up on Total Information AM, Missouri's auditor is weighing in on a superintendent who was paid who never did any work and what it means for taxpayers. Sean Malone is going to have that coming up next. And then at the bottom of the hour, are we still short on pennies? Missouri Net's Matt Pelger with Missouri Bankers Association President and CEO Jackson Hadaway will answer that question. It's now 8:20. Let's see if we've still got some backups downtown. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's better, but there's still delays, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Westbound 64, just from the 70 split to 3rd Street's bumper to bumper, and 5570's backed up, approaching Exchange into that merge onto 64 as well. On the Illinois side, we also have delays, primarily northbound. 255 between Seminary Road and 111 is pretty slow through there. Southbound just has a shorter delay. Northbound 270, you're still heavy, approaching Gravois most of the way to 44. Doherty Ferry up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue, a little busy. Eastbound 64, Clarkson toward Timberlake is heavy. East of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt slow at Brentwood. Westbound 64, McCausland to Hanley, the busiest part. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like more sun than clouds today. Very hot and humid this afternoon. We're expecting a high of 97 with real feels over 100. We could see some heavy thunderstorms late this afternoon and this evening that could bring us some downpours, even some hail and possibly an isolated tornado. After that clears, it'll turn colder. We'll have an overnight low around 65. Right now, we have partly sunny skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. Lynch.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs. So this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the All Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
At Easy Cater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With Easy Cater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
A new report from Missouri Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick shed some light on why the Francis House School District paid a superintendent nearly $250,000 to walk away from the job. KMOX's Sean Malone spoke with Auditor Fitzpatrick about what the school board missed about Mike Dominguez, who never worked a day for the district.
What we found was that the school board did just not a thorough enough job reviewing the individual they hired before hiring them. They hired a search firm to locate the candidate or identify the candidate for the job. And they did that without competitively procuring the search firm. And ultimately, that firm failed to thoroughly vet the individual, and so did the board. And so they found out after the fact, after they'd hired them, that there were some things they were concerned about in his past, in his prior employment. And rather than see that employment contract through, the board made the decision to part ways with him and ultimately paid him $250,000 to somebody who didn't work a day for the district. And so our view of it is that the school board should have competitively procured their search firm and evaluated different firms as opposed to just hiring one who they essentially said they hired because that was the firm that hired away their previous superintendent to another district, and so they thought that they would just go ahead and hire those people. Their justification was that hiring a superintendent is not a routine thing, and so they didn't think a competitive process was necessary. However, they've hired 3 superintendents since 2022, and so it seems to be pretty routine in that school district. And our position is that they would need to competitively procure that and take more significant steps to vet future candidates for leadership positions in the district. And the unfortunate situation on this one is that the board is kind of washing their hands of it and kind of not accepting responsibility for the failure here. And our view is that as long as they have that attitude and take that approach, this circumstance has a high risk of repeating itself moving forward. So we would encourage the board to take the recommendation seriously and implement that moving forward.
Could you elaborate on those concerns that the board found?
Well, there was a separation agreement that was had a confidentiality provision in it. I can just say that there were some concerns that were not identified prior to hiring him that related to his past employment in Garden City, Kansas, and and the concerns were significant enough that the board made the decision to part ways with them and enter a settlement agreement, as opposed to attempting to terminate him and go through a potential legal battle with him. So we'll honor the terms of the confidentiality agreement. We did see it, but the information in our report, I think, is robust enough that it gives us the reader a sense of the background information necessary to understand what took place.
In a written response, the Francis House School Board says the auditor did not identify any violations of Missouri law, board policy, or contract regarding the separation agreement with the previous superintendent. The district says it has made changes to future superintendent contracts. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestatematters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatematters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
8:30, let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, what's happening out there?
Well, we have some issues out there right now, Megan. If you're traveling downtown, westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge at the Missouri end, we have an incident. I believe it's blocking the left lane. So traffic's a solid jam now. Back on the 5570, which is heavy west of 203. So bumper to bumper the whole way through there now, heading into downtown. If you're on eastbound 64 coming the other way, there's still heavy traffic. East of Lindbergh to Big Bend, westbound 64 from that area We're on Bellevue out to Hanley is also a little slow. Westbound 70, we have a incident blocking just before you get to Bryan Road. Traffic's jamming at Highway K. South 270, south of 364 to Ladue, slow. North 270, still a slowdown. Gravois midway to 44, and then Doherty Ferry up to Ladue after that. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we could be in for some severe weather later on this evening. For today, it's going to be very hot and humid, a high 97 with real feel temperatures over 100 degrees. Then late this afternoon and this evening, we could see some severe thunderstorms that include downpours, hail, possibly even a tornado. Once that clears tonight, it'll be cooler with an overnight low of 65. Right now, we have sunny skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Remember all those concerns about running out of pennies across Missouri? Well, things are actually starting to turn around. Matt Pilger caught up with Missouri Bankers Association President and CEO Jackson Hadaway to get an update.
We talked about this a couple of months ago, and you told me that there really wasn't a shortage, but an accessibility issue. How would you kind of describe the current penny situation across Missouri today?
We're doing much better than I think people believed we would. Several months ago now, when the federal government decided to end production of the penny, or when by executive order the end of the penny was put in place. And there are a couple of reasons for that. First and foremost, a vast amount of the transactions that take place at retailers or other locations where you might use cash traditionally accept card. And more transactions take place either through your card or through some version of your card, like a digital wallet that you use to make payment at the retail location. So on one hand, you simply have the lack of need for penny for most transactions becoming clearer and clearer every day, which was part of the driver to get rid of the penny anyway. Secondarily, there was also a change by the Federal Reserve in its stance on how it would collect and distribute pennies. When this announcement was first made, the Fed said that they would continue to allow pennies to be deposited within the cash system, but they would no longer take orders and distribute the penny. And so we saw locations of the Fed's coin distribution system slowly start announcing no more distribution, no more distribution. And then in March, the Federal Reserve changed its stance and began allowing banks and other entities to order pennies so they could fulfill transactions. So while you have no new pennies entering the system, you've eased the choke point significantly by allowing banks and others to order more pennies, fulfill orders from their particularly commercial customers who have needs at drive-through windows or teller lines or wherever it may be. And that simplified the problem from what we thought it would be when it was first announced the penny would disappear. Then, of course, you had state legislation that just passed that will make that even clearer for the retailers or merchants who are dealing with this on a day-to-day basis with end customers.
What are Missouri banks and retailers telling you right now? Are they able to get those pennies whenever they need them? And are you seeing any certain regions of Missouri that are seeing more issues than others whenever it comes to penny access?
There was a period of time where our metros were most impacted. We would hear in St. Louis, Kansas City, maybe Springfield, that there was a need for more pennies, or that certain banks had a higher number of pennies they were holding on to, and they would share them with other banks when requests came in to help deal with this. They were paying for trucks to move the pennies around. That seems to have really died down since the Fed's announcement that they would continue to take orders and distribute pennies. And we haven't heard as much from any of the communities around Missouri about penny shortages probably in the last month or two. It seems like it's very much leveled off, whether that's because people are now used to at least doing more card transaction, or because that change really did enhance the ability to order and fulfill orders of pennies. I can't put my finger on it, but it does seem like the pressure has reduced by and large across Missouri's communities.
That's Missouri Net's Matt Pilger with Missouri Bankers Association President and CEO Jackson Hadaway. Your Money Report is next.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. SuperSure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Wall Street rattled yesterday by a sell-off in some of the world's largest tech companies. That sent the Dow tumbling 953 points and the S&P 500 dropping 1.6%. Shares of several large trucking companies, FedEx Freight and Old Dominion, plunged in trading yesterday. Amazon is taking another step deeper into shipping. The company is expanding its less-than-truckload freight service, where multiple companies share space on the same truck, to destinations across the U.S. This is raising fears that Amazon will snatch business away from established players. And former ExxonMobil CEO Lee Raymond has died. He oversaw the biggest corporate merger in the history of the oil industry with Exxon's 1999 acquisition of Mobil. He was 87 years old. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The pitch. Mason Wynn hits it hard. Deep left field. That ball's out of here.
Community America Credit Union has been helping people like you and me, shortstop Mason Wynn, to win big for 85 years. Cash back with your free checking. Win. No service fees or minimum balance. Win. Bank anywhere, anytime with their app. Win. So yeah, with Community America, you can win. And so can I. Mason Wynn. Community America Credit Union. Invested in St. Louis, invested in you.
The summer's finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Don't let rising gas prices stop you from having a clean and healthy home. Zero Res is keeping comfort affordable with powerful cleaning at a price families can feel good about. Zero Res can handle every surface in your home: carpets, tile, grout, hardwood, laminate, upholstery, rugs, air ducts, and more. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
I'm with Mark Cantor of Cantor Injury Law. And Mark, why is it so important for you to be a local law firm?
Well, being local means more than just advertising here, more than just a billboard on the highway. It means showing up here. It means supporting local events and local charities.
But why is local so important?
It's important because we know the law, we know the judges, we know the roads, and we understand the community.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
You can count on Cantor. Visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Loop with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Don't miss a hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this weekend at the St. Charles Convention Center. Over 25 American-made units on display. Immediate delivery and financing available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Rising gas prices pushed inflation to its highest level in 3 years last month. Prices have now risen faster than wages for several months. Elon Musk's rocket company SpaceX will make its debut on Wall Street tomorrow. And Visa embedding its payment network into ChatGPT. That will allow the chatbot to shop and complete transactions for users. Well, we've got some problems for downtown drivers. Roger Brand has the latest. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, police just pulled up on the scene, Megan, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. This traffic reports a service of I-3 broadband, but we still have this crash at the Missouri end of the Poplar Street Bridge. It wasn't the left lane. They were trying to get off onto the Memorial exit, I believe. They're working on that right now. So 5570 is jammed back onto 5570, which is jammed at Exchange, just crawling all the way to the Poplar. Musical Veterans is wide open as an alternate. Northbound 270, still a slowdown north of Sappington to Gravois. Manchester up to Ladue. South 270, 364 down to Ladue's busy. Eastbound 64, a little heavy Mason in toward 270, then Lindbergh through the inner belt. South 170, a couple of slowdowns. Olive to 64. We have this incident, a crash, westbound 70 before Bryan Road. Traffic's jammed between TR Hughes and K westbound, and there's a little slowdown through that area eastbound as well. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and get started today. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. It's going to be hot and humid today. We could see a high of 97 with real feels over 100. Some thunderstorms around this afternoon, then clearing later tonight. Cooler, an overnight low of 65. We have sunny skies now, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. An officer with more than 3 decades experience in the St. Louis County Police Department, now its new leader. This morning, we welcome newly appointed Chief Colonel Juan Cox. He joins me on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning, Megan. Thanks for having me.
Well, congratulations. It's a pretty heavy duty. What are your first priorities in this job?
Thank you very much. The first is try not to screw it up. No, it's really, the focus mainly is still on reducing violent crime and community outreach. I want to be more data driven. Let the data tell us where we should go and what we should be doing. And just things like that, just making sure that we are providing wellness for our employees, physical and mental, all of those little things. But I think in law enforcement, in this region, you'll be focused on the reduction of violent crime and community outreach.
I know in your appointment, one of the things that was noted was all the things that you have been involved in. One of the things is you've been instrumental in developing both crime prevention strategies and youth outreach. And right now, as you know, we're having some issues with these teen takeovers. What do you think we should do to tackle this issue?
Well, it's funny, Megan, and I just mentioned this. I was talking to a sergeant with St. Louis Metro yesterday, last night, and I said, what's been keeping me up lately is the teenage takeovers, because something bad is going to happen. And when it happens to young folks, it looks twice as bad. But these teen takeovers, it's a national phenomenon. We have been in conversations with St. Louis Metro, both of our intelligence units, trying to put together operational plans on how we're going to try to combat this issue. I guess the kids are bored. We do have a police athletic league. We have our careers and pathways through law enforcement. We have programs in place to keep them busy. But I think we really have to start holding these juveniles accountable for their actions, and we need to work with the family court to make sure that they are held accountable.
What do you need from parents?
To raise their kids the way we were raised. To be honest with you, Megan, a lot of situations we see, it's grandma who may be 70, 80 years old raising a 8, 10, 12, 15-year-old kid. And it's a lot of pressure on her, and, she's already raised her kids. But we are seeing definitely a lack of parenting. And I know we've been exploring how do we make the parents responsible for some of their kids' actions. I don't think we've figured that out yet, but I definitely think that these are the things that we really need to be discussing around the country as police chiefs and police departments.
Chief, beyond this issue, what are some of the other crime issues that law enforcement is facing in this region right now?
Crime is down, but it doesn't feel like it in certain places. And crime is down in certain places because population may be down. There are a lot of different ways you can look at that. I think right now in St. Louis County, we really don't have a crime trend, but there are stuff that's as white collar as Bitcoin for a hut to, a few years ago, we had the stolen auto problem. Right now, I think the teen takeovers, the weekends where the kids are taking over a gas station here or a neighborhood there, I think that's probably the biggest issue right now.
You most recently served as deputy chief. What do you feel like you learned from the years that you worked under retired Chief Kenneth Gregory?
Chief Gregory is a good Christian man, and what I learned was Chief Gregory got along with everyone. I think our relationship with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies is because of the way he carried himself and the way he led. We work with everybody. We work collaboratively with any agency. I think his humbleness. I watched how he interacted with everyone. And how he treated everyone fairly. And by being the deputy chief and having all of the division heads report to me, I learned that we have some very good strategic leaders, some very good managers, and I have to figure out the best way to utilize that talent.
Well, Chief, I hope we have you on again soon to talk about some of the initiatives you're working on. Thanks so much for joining us. And again, congratulations.
Thank you, Megan. Have a good day.
You as well. That is St. Louis County Police Chief Juan Cox joining us this morning on KMOX. Coming up next, there is a group that's upset by the decision to demolish 3 St. Louis City schools that have been vacant for a long time. Maria Kina brings us that coming up.
I'm Roger Brand, and this is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
For almost 6 decades, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been helping homeowners throughout the metro area transform their outdoor living spaces. And I think that the people will tell you after they do an amazing project that is their favorite room in the house. Wouldn't you like to say the same? Be the talk of your neighborhood, or just build some beautiful, quiet, peaceful respite, or maybe a combination of the two? Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, because in the month of June, if you mention my name, Debbie Monterrey, they'll take 20% off your next outdoor project. Maybe you just need a replacement for a fence or a new deck, or you need an entire new spread. All of it is possible with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They can come to you with free in-home estimates and free planning and design. Or you can visit them in the Chesterfield Valley. They have a beautiful showroom that'll really give you an idea of just some of the things that can be done. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. Find them online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Soccer fans, get ready. Join St. Louis City SC in KMOX, June 12th at Lufuse Plaza, as the U.S. men's national team kick off their cup run against Paraguay. The party starts at 5 with live music, games, prizes, and plenty of soccer excitement before the 8 o'clock match. Then watch every minute of the action on the massive video screen surrounded by fellow fans. No tickets required. Just bring your USA spirit and be part of an unforgettable night. June 12th, Lufuse Plaza, presented by St. Louis City SC.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning for Total Information AM here on KMOX. The St. Louis Board of Education votes to demolish 3 schools damaged in last year's tornado. The buildings have been vacant for decades, but one group isn't happy about the decision. KMOX's Maria Kina has more.
3 schools in the tornado zone, Scullin, Hempstead, and Euclid, sustained damage, but they were vacant before the tornado. Tuesday, the St. Louis Public Schools Board of Education voted to demolish all 3 schools, even Euclid, which had a developer.
I attempted to be in communication with individual members of the Board of Education over the past few weeks, really over the past few months, and I have had very little luck getting anyone to respond to an email or a phone call. I've had Brian Marston has been very responsive, and I appreciate that.
But Executive Director of Landmarks Association of St. Louis, Stuart Keating, tells KMOX since the schools were in the tornado zone, they qualified for insurance recovery money.
I'm really very frustrated with the Board of Education's vote last night. And I mean, what's interesting to me about this is that this was a really prime opportunity, right? So the Euclid School is in Fountain Park neighborhood, and someone was going to come in and someone wanted to come in and do an $11 million development to turn it into multi-family housing, multi-unit housing. And we actually have a case study on this. We have 17 schools across the city of St. Louis that have been converted into residential units. They total about 634 units of housing. And it's not just like luxury lofts like people think of. It's senior housing, it's low-income tax credit housing, it's middle-income housing. There's a variety of different housing options that can come out of this. And it can be a really strong stabilizer for neighborhoods, right? You have instead of having this vacant school or instead of having a vacant lot, which if it's a vacant lot, the St. Louis Public Schools still has to pay to mow it. They have to pay to fence it. They have to pay to maintain it. If someone gets injured, they're on the hook for it liability-wise. They're magnets for crime. They look bad, right? So vacant lots in these vacant schools cause neighborhoods to decline and they cause property values to decrease, which then further hurts the St. Louis Public Schools because that's how they get their funding is from property tax values. So these school rehabs that have been done are actually currently contributing about $150,000 every year directly to St. Louis Public Schools. So they're paying about $300,000 a year total in tax. It's about $149,000 goes to the St. Louis Public Schools. And some of these are abated because they're pretty big projects. And once those tax abatements end on all the projects that are currently active, the number will be closer to $250,000 a year that goes to St. Louis Public Schools directly. And that is, of course, just the real estate taxes. That doesn't count the economic activity that goes into rebuilding these schools, rehabbing these schools. It doesn't go into the property taxes and the sales taxes that the people that live in these schools pay as well. So these are really essentially big economic engines for neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods that have been distressed and disinvested in North St. Louis. So it's very tough to see what should have been a slam dunk for the Board of Education to transfer one of these buildings and have someone else take it on and restore it and make it an income-producing property.
I spent several hours at the Board of Aldermen. It was regarding the RAM settlement money. But
Right.
one of the things that did come up, North City and how it's for so many years been disinvested. And there was actually a lady who spoke up and said that the schools that she attended are no more. Scullin, Hempstead. Was the entire board, did they all vote against or vote for this?
Well, so this was the Board of Education, which are separately elected. There are 7 of them. 4 of the board members, so there were 7 votes total, 7 members total. There were only 6 votes. One of the people was having technical difficulties and couldn't vote. So there were 2 people that voted against demolition and 4 that voted for demolition.
There's no recourse, nothing that could be done. Is this a done deal now?
I was looking into that this morning. I don't think there were any procedural defects on the meetings. I think that we will probably end up filing some sunshine requests around the bidding process for demolition because the demolition bid seemed higher than one might expect, just to see what's going on there. But yeah, I think it's probably a done deal, and to me this is very sad because this we lost. Like Club Imperial is going to get demolished in North St. Louis, where Tina Turner played. The Palladium was demolished. We're looking at the ABC Auto Sales building getting demolished very soon. We just keep having all of these pieces of history and culture in North St. Louis that are getting demolished, and we don't see that in South St. Louis. Like we protect that. And I don't know if it's because we as a city have decided that St. Louis like South City's history is more important. I certainly hope not. The more that you divorce neighborhoods from their past and from the more you disrupt that sort of continuity of culture, the more problems you get.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
And Maria has reached out to the district for a response. The district has been working with real estate firms to try and sell vacant properties. You can actually view that list on the district's website. Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM in the 8 o'clock hour, every Friday we do, in case you missed it, it's at 8:24, and that catches you up on all the best stories of the week so that you don't feel like you're left out. Also heading into the weekend, we're going to have the latest travel news from our KMOX travel advisor, Peter Greenberg. He is also the host of Peter Greenberg Worldwide, that you can hear weekends here on KMOX. Of course, if you miss any of our segments, you can find our podcast, Total Information AM, on KMOX.com or use the Odyssey app. It's AUDACY. the Odyssey app. You can listen live. You can go back and listen to shows in their entirety, or you can listen to segments as well as they are podcast. We're going to check the roads coming up in just a moment. We've had some problems downtown. Roger Brand will get us updated.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lenseek.
Sugar substitutes used in midlife are linked to cognitive decline. Researchers with the University of Sao Paulo tracked nearly 13,000 adults and found that those consuming the highest amounts of sweeteners, like aspartame and saccharin, experienced memory and cognitive decline 62% faster than those consuming the least. The link is strongest among people with diabetes and those under the age of 60. The study is published in the journal Neurology. I'm